Boom, oh oh, oh oh, oh oh. Playing with my favorite and can't go home alone again. I'm gonna go get some water. I need some water. Can't go home alone again. Need someone to lend the pen. Playing with my favorite time. Can't go home alone again. How are you guys doing? Short answer, no. I would disagree with that. How fast do I think Bleach characters are? I don't know, man. Bleach characters are somewhere. They're inconsistent. Like, if you want an honest answer, they're inconsistent as fuck. I need to. What was the first time Ichigo used Getsuga Tenshou? What chapter are we on? 60. What was the first one of these? Is one of the best plot foreshadowing devices I've seen in Shonen. Can you explain to me what about it is plot foreshadowing? What about that move is like even remotely regards to plot foreshadowing? Like, in all honesty. Oh, thank you, Jimbus. I appreciate that. How does it foreshadow anything? Like if you have like a genuine like response for that, I would like to know. Like, not even trying to like, start anything. I would just love to know. By the way, how's everybody doing today? I might just start off from like here, right? I'm doing good. This is about Bleach. Yeah, we're gonna people wanted that other video, so we're just gonna do this real quick. Soul Society. Let's just do this. Ichigo's attacks and power-ups were completely controlled by Yuha Baha and his Quincy heritage. That's why there's almost robotic development of Ichigo's growth up until the Blade is me. But that doesn't explain to me... Okay, but I'm not reading Bleach again. I'm just going to take every single scan with Getsuga Tenshou in it, and I'm going to explain to people why the move itself sucks. Like, it's a useless-ass move. It doesn't do anything. There isn't a single point in the series where I've seen Getsuga Tenshou actually, at least as far as I can properly recall, there's like nothing within the context of the story that like even remotely seems as to a reason why Getsuga Tenshou should even be considered like a decent move, let alone, good. Or cuz you know what the thing is, like, by the way, I don't know by the way, Preston, I don't know like how that necessarily correlates to, it foreshadowing. You know what I mean? Like, what does the whole thing with like Yuha Baha suppressing Ichigo's power have to do with, foreshadowing for Getsuga Tenshou itself? You know what I mean? There's only move 2, and he gets called out for the fact in the series multiple times. Yeah, which is funny. Yep. Like, the move, I'm not saying that like you can't think the move is cool or anything, right? Like, it is never a matter of like, subjective opinions, like, is the move cool, is the move decent? Well, decent would be more objective, right? Like, does the move do anything, right? Also, I might be wrong on this. I don't feel like looking this up right now. Does anybody know if like Ichigo uses up his own Reiatsu? Like, his Reiatsu lowers in quantity or, like, quality when he uses Getsuga Tenshou? Or is it just, like, does it have, like, a stamina cost to it? I don't recall as far as, like, remembering this. By the way, do you think Luffy's signature move is... You know what's crazy? I was thinking up after I closed off stream yesterday. I was thinking up, just in general, like... I was thinking about, like, making comparisons between, like... You know, this move and other, like, main protagonist moves. You know how, like, Naruto defeated Pain with Rasengan. How he defeated Kabuto with Rasengan. How he evolved Rasengan and then made the Rasen Shuriken and he defeated Pain. Yeah, it never shows any kind of stamina cost, right? I was thinking about, like, that, and then I was thinking, like, what comparison could I use for Luffy? And I guess for Luffy, it's less of a case of, like, him having a signature move, and more so him having... him just punching very hard, right? Like, with Ichigo, it's less of a case... I mean, not Ichigo. With Luffy, it's less of a case of him having, like, a legitimate signature move, and him more so having, you know, him more so having this whole, like, ideology of, like, if I can't punch you hard enough, I'll just punch you harder. You know what I mean? As a plot device, the move itself is a limited form of a signature power of the Shiba clan, which is directed and corrupted by... What's the Shiba clan? Shiba clan. Yeah, it uses spirit energy, but, like, that's not a factor, right? But as a signature move, that's hype. I get, you can see how No, like, it doesn't do anything. The move sucks. Like, it just doesn't do a single thing. Oh boy, it made Byakuya bleed, but who has it beaten, right? Who has this move... What has this move ever actually done? You know what I mean? I think I might actually have to go back to, like, the Renji fight. Does anybody know what chapter the Renji fight's at? I'm not trying to, like, you know, go do too much back and forth, like, between chapters. I just want to, like, download the chapters and then, like, look through them as we figure this out. Oh! Ichigo's family is the Shiba clan. Around 130, I could be wrong. Oh, one of the 5 great noble families? Oh, yeah, right. Shit, that isn't, like, really explained within the story, right? Or is it explained in the 1,000-Year Blood War? Because up until that point, I just have nothing to work off of. I guess the move is the Fireball Jutsu equivalent in Bleach. I guess. Here we go. Okay. This goes into covers, right? Yeah, this goes into covers. Yeah. So why? Blah, blah, blah. It's explained a bit in TYBW. Yeah, but that doesn't stop the move from sucking, right? Like, who has Ichigo beaten with the move? Like, I don't care about it having some foreshadowing significance or any of that crap. I could make the same thing about, like, you know, the Rasengan being Naruto's dad creating a jutsu so that he could protect Kushina and blah, 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 blah. And the move is a reproduced shinobi-tailed beast bomb in smaller scale, right? And all that other crap. But, like, you know, Rasengan beats people. Eon are a better example, the basic Ki Blast equivalent. Yeah, basically. Beats Renji and Ameno's Grande. Yeah, like, okay, Renji sucks. Like, Renji, especially in the early portions of the story where he's even weaker, is, like, the worst metric by which we could say that, like, oh yeah, this move is good. You know what I mean? Like, Renji is, like, in every sense of the word, the worst metric that you could ever try to use comparatively, because Renji just straight up sucks. There's nothing good about Renji. Like, in terms of, like, as a combatant, he just sucks. Info about the Shiba Clan or 5 in general are sprinkled throughout the series and throwaway dialogue. Yeah, right? Like, it never actually has, like, any substantial effect, right? For a series like Bleach, I'd expect each to have a variety of attacks, and there's so much potential. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I'm just downloading these chapters because why the fuck not, right? Like, I might as well talk about the whole fights. I might as well, like, express the fights themselves instead of, you know, just saying Getsuga Tenshou sucks because it never just beat anyone, right? Like, how did Ichigo actually defeat his opponents versus how much did, like, Getsuga Tenshou actually provide for these fights? There was a chance to beat Renji actually to do... There was a chance to make Renji actually do something in the TYBW, but it never happens, which is weird considering how strong he was then. And you know what the craziest part about all of that you just said was? Renji beat like one guy, and then I think he lost to Uryu, and we just never see it. Yeah, it beats pre-Bankai Renji, which is the epitome of mid. Yeah, like, listen, I'm not saying you can't like the move, right? I never go off of any of this stuff saying like you can't like the story, you can't like the characters, you can't think any of it is cool, right? I'm just saying like as a signature move, right? As the move that is supposed to be like the strongest thing in an arsenal for a character, at least in this case our main protagonist, this thing just straight up is the definition of ass or just straight up mid. Like there's nothing, it's like there's nothing to be proud of, right? There's nothing that like you can really use to defend it. We're just at this point all we're really saying here is, I mean, it's a move, right? Like all it is a move. It's flash, in a way, like, it almost just is just Bleach as a whole, right? Like, Getsuga Tenshou is almost like Bleach, right? Like, it's all flash, but, like, and where, like, you could say there is substance, it's just all sprinkled throughout a bunch of different chapters that ultimately can just be boiled down to, like, as someone else said, throwaway dialogue, right? I don't know. Renji beat the macho masculine dude, and that's quite the achievement. Right. One of the random fucking dudes, right? One of the random, guys there. Yeah. Sternritters. Cool. Yeah. It beat a guy, right? Like, Renji beat a guy in the series, right? I would expect one of the not protagonists, one of the good guys of the story that shares at least some level of significance within the role of the story as a combatant. I would expect him to beat a guy in the final arc of the story. You know what I mean? Like, if the metric by which we're going is he beat a guy in the last chapter of the story. Sorry, not the last chapter. The last portion of the story, then sure, I suppose. That's an argument I guess you could use. Not a good one, but yeah. That's like saying, I don't know, Naruto, not even Naruto. That's like saying, what is that like saying? That's like saying Kakashi beat, I don't know, the Hidden Mist Ninjas. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Hidden Mist Ninjas, right? Cool. I'm gonna say Ikaku over Renji. And you know what the craziest part about Ikaku over Renji is? I like Ikaku too. I actually do like the concept, like, not the concept of his Bankai, because his Bankai is just also kind of ass. Like, his Bankai is also kind of ass. It's like the Regigigas of Bleach. It's basically the Regigigas of Bleach. Like, it's only good after you give it enough time for it to do something. Oh, wait, I guess Ichigo did win, guys, with Getsuga Tenshou. Wow. Cool. Byakuya didn't even go down. He just said, fuck it. I guess you won. Cool. Like, I don't know. I guess, like, even talking about Ikaku, it's like, yeah, but then Ikaku's Bankai also kind of just sucks. You know what I mean? No, I don't know how to feel about the Bleach speed scaling. It's inconsistent as fuck. I'm supposed to take a single manga panel to mean their light speed. I'm supposed to consider spiritual light to be the same as normal light. I don't know, man. I might just not even scale Bleach at all. I might really not even just scale it. There's so many things about Bleach that just make me sit here and say, this is, I don't find any of this enjoyable, when other things about the series just kind of make me go back to thinking, I don't know, it's mid. Like, this, like, as I click through it, I'm thinking, like, what is the point of saying he's going to lose his powers when you're just going to give it back to him the next season? Because Kubo literally did that again. Because, like, Kubo literally just repeats this whole thing later on when, what's his face? Yeah, no, he actually literally just repeats this whole thing again when, what is it? When he, when Ichigo loses his powers, right? Like the whole Fullbringer arc also kind of blew minds because of that. Because it's like, why backpedal at that point? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if Ichigo if Ichigo gets a new set of powers, cool, I guess. Like, maybe have them all culminate together in Soul Reaper powers by the end of the series. But if we're talking, I don't know. Does he beat Kenpachi with Getsuga Tenshou? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't beat Kenpachi with Getsuga Tenshou. I mean, is a character working to get his powers back really that disengaging? It is when you've got two different situations where you as a writer take away your character's powers in two separate occasions and they just get them back right afterwards. Because it basically means that there is absolutely no consequence for it at the end of the day, right? Like, there really was no consequence for Ichigo using final Getsuga Tenshou. Aizen was still defeated. He gets him back he basically waits, 17 months? 17 months? He waited a year and a half and he got his powers back. Fantastic. I don't know, man. Like, at that point, why write it in? You know what I mean? Like, even if like you did want to do it for Ichigo specifically, like you feel like it is important, I also, like, or at least it's, like, important for his development as a character, which, fine, you're welcome to that opinion. Why do it with why do it with Uryu then, right? Like, why go through this whole plot thread first with one character, just to then repeat it with your main protagonist again? Like, again, it's just choices and decisions that I'm just like, is this really decent writing? I think the issue that I have is that I like stakes in my series, or at least I like to feel like there are stakes. I mean, we have to kind of just accept the fact that in some cases, that in most cases, especially when writing fiction, it's like the suspension of expectations, right? Like you as a writer, I would assume that you'd like to like write a story in such a way where like your readers can't just predict everything that's going to happen, right? And in a shonen, I feel like it can be very difficult because at the end of the day, like, the protagonist has to sort of defeat the bad guy, right? Which is fine. I've never had an issue with, like, the protagonist beating the bad guy. I guess my issue more so comes in from the idea that, like, if we're going to, I want there to be situations. I want there to be situations where if the characters or the writer are going to go out of their way to, let's say one thing or do one thing or blah, 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 I want there to actually be consequences for it, right? For the consequences to actually matter. I don't think it's fun to say that, like, oh yeah, I can just take my character's powers away at any point, and because now I'm aware that, as a matter of fact, not even take away my character's powers away. It's like Ichigo at this point could quite literally just always use final Getsuga Tenshou to win every single fight, and there's literally no consequence for it because he'll just lose his powers, and then the Soul Society can just make him another sword if they really damn well choose to do it. Yeah, and Ichigo's new powers never feel new. Like, the newest I've ever felt Ichigo's powers... The newest, at least to me, that, like, Ichigo's powers ever felt was when he had, like, the Hollow Mask. And let's be honest, that was just a stat amp, right? Like, it doesn't really amount to much if it's just a stat amp, at least in terms of, like, I guess you could say, interest. Just color-swapped version of a Shinigami. I mean, this is bland. Expect. Orihime got kidnapped by Aizen. The stakes were high there. But what? No, not really. What were the stakes so high about? Why were they so high stakes that Orihime got taken? That was just a reason for Ichigo and the others to go into Hueco Mundo. ICL. I can't lie, Bleach has no story. The reason you read it is because the fights look cool. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, There's nothing wrong with like liking Bleach because you think the fights are cool or whatever. I mean, I genuinely don't think that there's a single issue with any of that. I think my issue more or less just comes from the idea that like, okay, let's talk about Orihime, right? She got taken. Why? She got taken because she had like what very interesting powers. Like the properties of her abilities were what? Like Aizen found them to be interesting. He needed a way for like what was it? Orihime to he needed a way to like get Ichigo and all these other guys to go with him to not to go with him. Fuck me, I uploaded it all to the wrong thing. Whatever. He needed Ichigo and the others to just sort of head to Hueco Mundo. That's kind of was the reason. It's not Orihime herself does not necessarily matter. She just was a metric by which what's his face could fuck, I really just have to take all of these now. Fuck. 1 second. Let me do that. This, and then we're gonna do. Okay, so we got that right. Then we go back. Go back. I would say the one thing Renji has over Ikaku is that he isn't bald, but that's an atrocious hairline, negates the advantage. I mean, he has the Vegeta shape up, right? He has the Vegeta hairline. No background in Bleach, but I like it more time. I like it more time to put in I like it more time to put in details in the characters. Denzel in distress. That's crazy. Kenpachi getting jumped by the Stern Raiders was full of stakes too. Okay. But I'm not talking about Kenpachi. I'm not talking about like what's happening between the arcs. I'm just saying Bleach, and in this case Ichigo, Kubo makes decisions. Like you're arguing points that nobody is discussing. That's the problem, Sukuna. You're arguing points that nobody's even discussing. You're bringing up 1,000-year blood war in what regard? Kenpachi got jumped, okay. I don't care if Kenpachi got jumped. I haven't gone back to the 1,000-year blood war. That's all irrelevant to me at this point. I'm just saying Ichigo as a character, essentially, there's no consequences to anything that he does, or at least in a negative sense, there's no consequences, right? He does the thing because he wants to save the people. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, there's no consequence to him or Uryu losing their powers. I don't like that. I'm just saying, I don't think there's any stakes in that. That removes the stakes of the fight when Ichigo just has to lock in a fight so that he can do a thing. You know what I mean? If Ichigo's getting his ass beat in so many of his fights and all he has to do is just lock the fuck in, where are the stakes? There's no stakes in the fight at that point. Ichigo's never going to die because as soon as he's close to dying, all he needs is Zangetsu to say, "Get the fuck up, bro. You can beat this guy," and then he wins, and that's it. Does that innately make it a terrible series? No, but it's a criticism I have. Yeah, the Fullbring arc. The Fullbring arc completely invalidates the whole like reason why Zangetsu was afraid of Ichigo losing his powers or protecting him or all that bullshit. Like, it just completely invalidates the fact that, like, Ichigo lost his Soul Reaper powers. There's no reason for Ichigo to lose his powers or to make this whole big deal about him losing his powers if he's just going to get them back. Like, Ikaku's Bankai looks cool. Aesthetically speaking, Ikaku's Bankai looks cool, for example, but what does Ikaku do with it? He beats some random ass... I do think Bleach, as from a writing perspective... By the way, Mosey, thank you. Can we get some W's for Mosey? I do think that Bleach, from a writing and character perspective, I do think it's, like, the worst of the big three. I don't feel satisfied with most of these characters. It's crazy that, like... Let me put it like this. When I was, 14, 15 years old was when I really started watching Bleach. I remember getting on Toonami and, like, late night. And I remember, actually before that, I think I was, like, 13 or 12. I remember seeing, like, one episode of Bleach. I don't remember how old I was. Yeah, like, 13, 14-ish around that time. Because I remember around my first year of high school, I actually started to, like, watch Bleach. And I remember I watched Ikaku Madarami's Bankai, like, before I really started watching the series. Before I started episode 1. It was just on Toonami late night. And I thought to myself, holy shit, this thing looks pretty fucking cool, right? So I see the character do the thing, I see him win, I see him do all this stuff. I mean, listen, as he fights, his Bankai shatters, right? It's just a chunk of energy and it's vulnerable to attacks. He clearly hasn't trained with his Bankai enough for his Bankai to, like, for, like, him to properly use his Bankai and, like, have proper mastery over it and all of its moves and all that crap, right? That's fine. There's no issue with that, right? But then, what does he do with that Bankai later on? is sort of like the issue that I consistently have, right? Like his Bankai is one of the few that like Renji just consistently breaks and is shattered and is destroyed, and it's like cool. Hey, Lapis, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Guys, can we get some W Lapis? And it's like Renji, where it's like, what's the point of like making Bankai a big fucking deal when these guys are getting destroyed every fucking time? Now you could say it's the Gete Kujo or whatever the fuck it is, the thing that like is limiting their spiritual pressure so that they don't fight or whatever, but it's like, I just saw Bankai. I'm watching this and I'm just like, Bankai's kind of trash if you're telling me that. Like, I get it. They're fighting at what, like an eighth of their power? How much longer can we keep this up? It's like at a 10th or like an eighth of their power, right? The Gentei Kaijo, that's what it was, right? They're about like 5 times stronger now. Cool, I guess, but I just saw Bankai get completely fucking negatived. For a moment, I saw Bankai get negatived by some random fucking Oran card, dude. Like, I don't know, that's not satisfying to me. I mean, here's Toshiro Hitsugaya, and here's Renji after they released their Gentei Kaijo. Sure, they one-shot the guys, but they're also falling to their knees, so it's like, am I really supposed to be impressed by Bankai at this point? I don't know, man. Hey, what's up, Mr. X? He's a Quincy and a Hollow. He should have just used those powers until he got... Yeah, I agree. Julio, here's the thing. I agree with you. Here's the thing. Ichigo is the amalgamation of humans, Quincy's, Soul Reapers, and Hollows, right? Now, if his Hollow powers and his Shinigami powers are inherently tied together, that's fine, but he still has the option to use Quincy powers and his recently obtained like Fullbringer powers. I think there would have been, at least in my opinion, I think there would have been maybe a bit more of an interesting development for not only Ichigo's moveset as a character, but Ichigo's capabilities if we did something with his Quincy powers. But no, I think the one time I do see Ichigo do anything with his Quincy powers is when he does Blut Ven. I think it's like the only time, god damn it, I did it again, where Ichigo does Blut Ven to block one of Yhwach's attacks. But that was it. That was like the one time Ichigo uses like his Quincy abilities, right? Am I wrong? I might be misremembering. Again, I haven't seen the TYBW in years. I read it years ago. I haven't actually gotten back to reading it now, but I'm gonna go into it. I'm just gonna like skim through it today just to like find all of Ichigo's moments of using Getsuga Tenshou. Like it doesn't. I guess you could say like my issue with it is more so that like, you know, it damages the quality of what I would consider an overall okay anime or manga by like 2007 2010 standards, and a pretty mid manga by today's standards. You know what I mean? Oh god damn it. This is post Soul Society, right? Let me save it here and then let me make a new thing. I forgot. This is no longer Soul Society. Go back. Let's go back here. Here. By the way, if Fake Karakura, Fullbring, Hueco Mundo. I'll just throw this shit in Hueco Mundo. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. This is all basically boiling into Hueco Mundo. I'm just gonna... You know what? Nah. Pre-Hueco Mundo. We're just gonna make a new folder, type pre-Hueco Mundo. Pre-Hueco Mundo. Ichigo did have the consequences. His powers are basically like shaking hands with the devil. His hollow powers would take over his mind, and the consequences of his hollow mask. Not really. The Hollow Mask just wanted to protect Ichigo. It was just survival of the fittest. It was just telling Ichigo, you're not using your powers correctly. What was the consequence of the Hollow Mask? He loses his shit and attacks and fucks up the person that he's fighting in front of him. The only difference is he's not in control. That's the consequence. Like, if you want to be we want to be real about it, that's the consequence. What's the most interesting kind of villain? Sadistic, nihilist, mirror villain, apathetic. I think that's just a question that just depends on who you are. A sympathetic villain has a lot of things that could go for them, like, you know, that could go on for them. But a sympathetic villain is like the type of villain that like you can kind of understand why the fuck they got to, like, let's say, like the point that they got to, where, you know, they kind of sort of want to, you know, there's kind of like a reasonable, not reasonable, there is a potentially justifiable reason as to why they are the way that they are, even if like we as human beings can't necessarily understand them, right? And there's no issue with that, right? But then there's people who think like, okay, a nihilistic villain, right? Like nothing matters in this world. Think of like Obito, for example, right? Nothing in this world matters. Everyone is just bound to try and get each other killed. Hate is a thing, you know, like there's a bunch of different ways that you can write one of these villains, and I think that it really just depends on like you, the viewer, as to like what ends up actually being the most quote-unquote interesting out of like the conversation. If he got consumed by his hollow mask, he would become a hollow and essentially die as Ichigo. Oh, that's right. Forgot. Oh, sorry, need a crack. A sympathetic villain is literally every major villain in Naruto. I guess you could say that. Bleach to me has always been more of the characters than the show. I feel very bored by portions of the show itself, but some of the characters are my favorite in fiction, so I'm torn. I mean, that's fine. That's a fine perspective to look at it from. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, right? I think that for me, the issue is that like these characters have a very good layout, right? Like I can definitely see Chad as a character that like I could definitely see Chad, for example, as a character that like that there's like a very good baseline there for what he can do as a combatant, right? He wants to protect his friends. He wants to use that strength that his grandfather told him that he always had in order to, you know, do the same thing that Ichigo's always said, you know, use this power to protect the people around me, right? I think all of that is great. There's genuinely speaking nothing wrong with that, but then it's the execution of the character where every single time Chad does something cool, like, okay, he beat these guys, right? But these guys are also, like, fodder hollows. So who really gives a shit at the end of the day? It then boils down to a question of, like, okay, well, let's keep moving on to Chad. Let's keep moving on to what the fuck he's talking about, what he's doing, and all this stuff. But then it's like, what does Chad do at the end of the day? Like, oh, he beat some fodder character. Fantastic. Let's keep going. What else has he done? Oh, well, he beat one of the fracciones, right? He beat a fraccion. Fracciones are pretty tough at this point. Fantastic. But then an Espada shows up and he gets blitzed in one shot. And what does Chad do after that? Nothing, right? Like, how do I put it? There are things about series that I like to look at from the perspective of, like, what does this character ultimately do within their role in the story, right? Like, I can't be upset if Ichigo's sisters, for example, are weak characters because they're not meant to be combatants, right? They're just meant to be supporting casts. Their roles as Ichigo's sisters, you know, they're supposed to be almost like an analog to, like, almost like a comparative analog as to, like, you know, what would an individual, in this case, you know, someone related to Ichigo with some of the same struggles that he might be going through, how would they react to the scenario? So, like, I judge them based off of that, right? Them just based off of being, you know, Ichigo's sisters. But then you have characters like Chad, who, for example, is a combatant. I judge Chad as a combatant. And that's, again, this doesn't go into his personality as a character. This goes into his usefulness. At least in my mind, this goes into, like, how useful is he? How relevant is he to the story? In terms of, like, actual narrative, Chad's only connection to any of the characters is that he is Ichigo's friend. That is Chad's entire purpose in this story. He is Ichigo's friend. He is not tied to any of the other, like, and he's friends, I guess, with Rukia and Renji, right? Like, he has kind of no other reason to, like, really involve himself in any of this other than I am friends with the people that are involved in all of this shit, right? So then, cool, that's fantastic, right? But then, what do I have to judge Chad based off of? Not just in terms of his personality and stuff like that. Now as a combatant, no, he sucks. Chad sucks. Like, oh, cool, brazo derecho del gigante. I love this thing. When I first saw this thing, I was like, yo, this is fucking sick. You got the cool fucking magenta and black arm. It looks like armor. I love shields, man. I love like a cool looking shield. And look at it. It's like it has like the hollows the hollow's like teeth on it. Man, this thing is fucking awesome. And if he can, you know, charge up like the back of it, how it like shoots out like a jet engine and then he blasts a massive punch. Cool. That is super duper sick. Especially in, again, 2007, 2010, where abilities for characters just boil down to large energy blast, right? Because that's all Chad really has, right? Cool arms that depict into a large energy blast. Oh man, brazo izquierdo del diablo. Look at the little electricity and energy that forms at the tip of his fingers, right? He charges it up, and then boom! Dude, sick. This is so fucking sick. La muerte. It's el muerte here, but el muerte does not make fucking sense in Spanish. That sounds fucking stupid. No, it's la muerte. Oh, La Muerte. Dude, he just punched the guy in the chest and a skull calavera spawned behind him, right? Awesome. Sick as fuck, right? And you think to yourself, man, Chad is so fucking sick. Oh shit, he just won his first like real fight against a tough opponent, at least within the context of like this portion of the story, right? Someone that actually like pushed him to go all out. And then, oh shit. Look at this. Oh, he punched him with the same attack. Is that all you've got? Oh look, blitzed in one shot. And then Chad does nothing for the rest of the series. Is Chad your favorite character if not for his losing streak? Oh no, I don't really have a favorite character in the story. End of series Chad? I don't know what end of series Chad scales to. I don't know what he scales to. Do you think the mirror villain is? The mirror villain, I assume by mirror villain you mean the villain that could have been the protagonist. You know what I mean? Like the protagonist, like a mirror of the protagonist. I think by that instance, I kind of view that as in the same light as like Mahito, where Yuji is the type of person that would like do his best to, you know, be a jujutsu sorcerer that can save other people, that can give him a death worth having. And then Mahito being a nihilist who doesn't care about anything. He just is a curse and he wants to do things as a curse. So whereas Yuji kills hollows, Mahito kills humans, and they will never see eye to eye on any of these kinds of situations because in every single aspect of the conversation, God damn it, I did it again. Fuck me, man. Saving this to Hueco Mundo. Alright, let's go back to this bullshit. Oh shit, did I also save this? Fuck. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pre-Hueco Mundo. Removing this here. Library, Bleach. Covers, and then let's go back to Bleach. We're gonna do Hueco Mundo. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think character concepts like that are worth talking about. I think that those kinds of villains are also interesting. You should wank JJK to Universal and make a video explaining why Sukuna destroys Bleach. To be fair, Chad was facing off against a Gote 13 level fighter being Noitora. I didn't expect him to like make him bleed or anything. I mean, that's fine. I don't care if you expected him to do it. I don't expect Chad to beat a captain either. I don't expect that shit either. But like, what is the point of having the character have a cool moment that doesn't change the fact that I want the character as one that I might like. I want the character to do something or at least have some level of limelight without them immediately being torn down and one-shotted, not even giving a chance, right? Kubo did not have to write Noitora pulling up out of nowhere just to defeat Chad. He didn't have to do that. And something else that he didn't have to do was just give Chad nothing else to do within the context of the story up until the 1,000-Year Blood War. Because Chad, like, objectively speaking, does nothing until the 1,000-Year Blood War again. Like, you can make the excuses that you want, and if they justify some of these things for you, that's completely fine. But they don't justify it for me, and that's the issue, right? Has Kubo ever released a spellbook for all the Keto? I don't know, man. Grimjaw and Urahara have most differing personalities humanly possible, and they're also two of my favorite characters in the story. Sadly, this leads to long periods of waiting for Kisuke. Yeah, like, Kisuke Urahara is a character that, like, I feel like even if you don't want to have him do much within the context of the story, the times that he does show up, I feel like he should feel a bit more impressive, or he should have a bit more things to do. And I get that, like, you might counter that with, like, well, I mean, Eon, the time that he showed up against Aizen, he set up the keto that would end up defeating Aizen by the end of all of it, right? And it's like, yeah, sure, I guess, but like, there was no foreshadowing for it. He just showed up at the end when Aizen seemingly had won, just to do it. And you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world, right? Let me not exaggerate what this really is, right? It doesn't really ultimately amount to much at the end of the day, because, like, whether or not, like, they foreshadowed even the slightest bit or not doesn't really matter. Aizen still loses it the way, so I guess it just goes to show Urahara's intellect. But, like, I don't know, man. I would have liked to have seen Urahara do a bit more in terms of, like, combat, rather than, I guess, resorting to his mind. But you know what? There's no issue with him resorting to his mind either, because, hey, listen, it's different than just unga-bungaing your way through everything like Ichigo does. And I will say that, to an extent, I will say that I don't even know why I'm downloading this crap. None of this matters to me. And I will say, like, to an extent, it does provide at least a topic of conversation of, not every single Bleach fight is won or lost. Not every single Bleach fight is won or lost by, like, characters unga-bungaing their way through it, but a large enough portion of them are, to the point where I'm like, yeah, the only two characters that legitimately use their brains to fight, which are Kisuke Urahara and Kurotsuchi, also have the most interesting fights within the context of the story. Have a trait that they can steal each other's powers? No, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, Chad was violently wasted in the Fullbring arc. That was the last thing I read, and I agree. Violently wasted. There was... Chad legitimately could... I'm not gonna lie to you when I say Chad could have quite literally have been in, like, Mexico or some shit at some other point in the fucking story, and it genuinely would not have mattered. Like, Chad adds nothing to this point in the story. When does Grimjaw do the Gran Rey Cero, by the way? He gets a good fight in Thousand Year Blood, but it's his only fight, and is it even a 1v1? Which of the pro tags of the big three has the most potential, like, equalize their stats and toss them into a time chamber, and who comes out the strongest at the end of 1 year? You could probably say Ichigo. Ichigo got, like, crazy strong, and, like, the whole point of the series, like, his potential is crazy. With Naruto, he needed teachers. Naruto, like, 100% needed his teachers. How's it going, man? I'm just trying to find all the feats that Ichigo has with Getsuga Tenshou. That's really what it boils down to. Your last comment. What do you think of a main villain who's not a threat to the main characters power-wise, but they're a threat to the morality and mentality, force them to question their own morals and standings? I don't know a lot of series that do that. I like the concept of that. In a way, you could probably say Kenjaku is a character that does that. Kenjaku, as a character, I know that some people feel like he was wasted, but I don't think that he was. Kenjaku was never meant to be, like, the end-all be-all villain of the series. He was more or less just supposed to be, like, one of the main antagonists, but he was also meant to be, like, the, what do you call that shit when somebody, like, is constantly feeding, like, the fires and wants people to fight? Like, he patronizes people. You should pixel scale from now on. I'm not fucking pixel scaling. There's no way I'm gonna do that shit. Pixel scaling is, objectively speaking, all headcanon. Power scaling in and of itself is kind of headcanon, but it's way more headcanon than me just using text and feats themselves. What's it called? Like, Kenjaku is just a fucking rage baiter. Let's just put it like that, right? He's the kind of guy... Kenjaku is the kind of guy that, like, everything that he did within the context of of JJK was more so just because I was bored. And, you know, to some people that'd be like, well, that's a terrible villain. He's just doing everything because he's bored, but it's the context behind the fact that he's bored, right? It's the context added onto that, right? This is a guy who has quite literally has found a way to live forever by using his curse technique to implant his brain into other people's bodies, right? Something that is morally despicable, right? Like, you're grave digging, you're going out of your way to find dead bodies, one that might have a suitable curse technique, just so that then you can not only experiment with humans, experiment with curses, try to do everything you can with the power system in this case, you know, finding a way to not only create a cage for Sukuna, but also finding a way to really unlock the potential of curses and human beings in a similar way to Aizen, but instead of like, you know, just finding an item that lets him do this, he essentially orchestrates every little thing that has happened throughout the last, not everything that has happened, but he has orchestrated multiple different attempts to try and find the true potential of cursed energy, to the point where and part of the reason is because he has just been bored. Like, you as an individual, let me ask you this. What would you do as a person with very minimal morality, so to speak, right? Like, you don't care about bodies, you don't care about life and death at this point. You do everything you can just because you're trying to feed your intellectual curiosity, and you've gotten to the point where you have experienced every single thing that humanity has had, that the human experience has to offer, right? The limits of your experiments have also essentially have reached their peak, and the only thing you can do left is just see, well, there is this one thing I can do, and it'll probably end the planet if I do it. But I've also lived for 1,000 years. Why the fuck wouldn't I just try it, right? Like, there's a lot more subtlety to it that's also explained far more in depth than someone like Aizen, for example. Like, Aizen, you really just have the whole last line with Ichigo after he beats him saying, oh, he might have just been looking for somebody to, you know, be his equal or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, it still doesn't explain why Aizen got to the point where he was, right? But with Kenjaku, it's like, he's done so much experimentation, he's swapped with so many bodies, he's lived so many lives, he's been in both a man's body and a woman's body. He's impregnated thousands of women, creating the he's impregnated thousands of women, including himself, not thousands of women, that's a lie. He's impregnated, like, either multiple women or himself, or he's tried to combine curses and himself in order to find, like, the next step in evolution for humanity. He's made these binding vows with sorcerers throughout all of history, and it all just to culminate in him saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna be the guy to end the world, right? Like, I'm bored. Like, I'm just legitimately bored. I want to end the world. So yeah, I would say that's, to me, probably pretty fucking interesting. Doesn't that mean Kenjaku's being evil for the sake of being evil? He's not being evil for the sake of being evil. It's more so, this is sort of like the last thing I have to do to give birth to his final plan. Yeah. It's not being evil for the sake of being evil, it's being bored. It's literally just saying, yo, what's your favorite Bleach arc? I don't even know, man. I don't think I have one. What is it? Soul Society, Hueco Mundo? The first arc is not even in the question. Fullbringer arc, and then it's the TYBW, which I just did not like when I first read it. I don't know. I don't like any Bleach arc. I don't have a favorite arc. All of the arcs, like, I guess Hueco Mundo, just because the fights are okay. By the way, just a blatant lie about the Gran Race Zero destroying Hueco Mundo, but sure. He's losing his sanity after living over 1,000 years. The man is just bored and insane. Like, think about it like this, right? You have an individual who doesn't give a shit about grave digging, grave robbing, right? I think us as human beings, us as, you know, your average human being, you would at least find some kind of moral implication, or at least some moral issue with, like, you know, going to maybe a dead friend's grave and digging it up and using their body after it was just buried, just because they had a cool curse technique that you might need, or they had, like, a better body than you, right? That you just waited for them to die just to put your brain in their body. I don't know, that's kind of fucking crazy, right? So take that concept, then add on about 1,000 years worth of living, experiencing basically every single thing that humanity has had to offer, and then you're just like, yeah, I can, at this point, all I need to do is just see the world end. I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with Kenjaku. All I'm saying is, shit, man. That's not a bad conclusion. That's not like the worst conclusion I can see someone reach. Like, genuinely speaking, I don't think that's the worst conclusions anybody could reach. Especially someone of, like, his mental state. Someone in his caliber. How interesting would it be for a villain to trap an MC in a position where they can't stop them without breaking their morals and what they stand for? That's kind of what happened in Invincible, right? Like, didn't Mark have to go out of his way to, like, say, like, oh, I will kill anybody that puts me in that position? That's actually something that, like, my main protagonist for, like, my series, like, kind of has to go through, where it's like, the final villain, he kind of goes through, like, this whole thing where he's already technically is killed, like, a vast majority, like, not a vast majority, but an insane amount of people throughout his verse because of a specific event. He's, like, technically killed. To even say trillions would be an understatement. Like, throw in whatever you would think, like, existence is, whether it's one universe, multiple universes, or whatever. Think killing 30% of that, of all life, by a certain amount of circumstances, right? So he doesn't like to kill people, but then, like, the final villain is someone who he has to kill because this person just needs to be put down, right? It's a moral implication that like, I do think is an interesting point to go across, and I think there are, like, separate different avenues for why it can go through these kinds of I think, like, it's something that, like, you can legitimately have a argument toward as to, like, there's different avenues to which you can take something like this, right? Like Gato Blue Summer from Trigun. I don't recall who that is, but from what I remember in Blue Gun, isn't, like, the main protagonist supposed to be, like, half, Kenjaku isn't very interesting in my opinion. Sukuna is much more interesting. He doesn't have anything besides, I'm bored, so I do evil things. Yeah, you could say that, but you could also say that in a power system that is entirely derived around the concept of negative emotions and just the act of doing bad things can essentially make you stronger. Well, not necessarily doing bad things, right? But being closer to evil is probably the best way for you to gain power easily. I see Kenjaku's goal of not necessarily doing evil things for the sake of being evil, but more so doing evil things because it is the best way to achieve understanding and knowledge in what is essentially the greatest power that humanity has to offer, right? And if you think he's not very interesting, again, I really have, like, nothing to try to push you to it, right? I think it's a fine enough opinion to have. Sukuna is but Sukuna, even for someone like me that defends Sukuna to heaven and hell, like, he is my favorite villain of all time. Sukuna is, like, a different example of, like, what does it mean to be the strongest, right? What does it mean to truly be, like, an apex predator, right? Sukuna isn't evil because he's evil, right? Because for the sake of being evil, right? He doesn't personally give a shit. He doesn't kill people because, oh, I'm a bad guy, I'm evil, I have to do it. No, he just sees human beings as lower life forms in the same way that we see cows and chickens as nothing but food, right? He sees us in the same way that we see animals as food. And yeah, to his extent, he even talks about the concept of love, where it's, I understand what love is. Hold on. Or, like, even someone like Sukuna understands what the concept of love is. He just doesn't give a shit, because why should he give a shit? You know what I mean? And he only reaches, like, this mental point because it's like he really had to come up from nothing. His mother was starving. Sukuna's mother was starving. He ate his only sibling to want to live. Sukuna's the example of a being who wants nothing more than to survive, and they simply had the mentality and the circumstances to allow them to say, yo, I can... Sorry, let me slow down. He has, like, the mentality and the circumstances to reach the apex of what is essentially the power of just humanity. Like, they even made a comparison of, like, what was it? Tengen evolving to a point where he kind of does just straight up look like fucking Sukuna of all people. It's kind of crazy. Ichigo negated? No, he didn't. He stopped. He literally slashed away the Grand Race arrow. I don't know about negating it. Like, the fact is, they say do not fire a Grand Race arrow. He didn't negate it. He simply clashed with it and stopped it. But if you're telling me that a force that is equal to a Grand Race arrow that could destroy Hueco Mundo, if both of these forces are clashing, Las Noches isn't destroyed, then I feel like the statement is just bullshit at that point. But anyway. It's not that deep, but it's realistic for a person. Yeah, no, I agree. It's realistic for a person. If I am someone with essentially no moral background, if I am, let's say, a serial killer, and I have killed people for thousands of years at this point, what the fuck am I supposed to do but think, I've been killing people for at least 1,000 years at this point. I've been doing evil, despicable, immoral shit all my life. And I've lived all the good things that life has to offer. I've been to all the countries. I've done all the things. At this point, what should I do other than kill everybody else at this point? Like, if I were actually, like, for example, if I were in Kenjaku's shoes, and, like, cursed energy wasn't a thing, but I've been alive for thousands of years by putting my brain in other people's bodies, I'm at the point at this point where, like, 1,000 years later, I'm like, what's there so interesting about living anymore? Everybody else is just, at this point, I might as well just find a way to get into power, and then just drop the nukes on everybody. I might just try to run for presidency, and then just start a world war just because it might be interesting. I don't know. Like, I've already seen, like, at that point, I've already lived through World Wars 1 and 2. I might as well just see what happens, and I've already lived through, like, the nuclear arms race and shit, but I've never actually seen it go off, so at this point, why not just make a nuclear apocalyptic end? Let me see what happens after that. I'm gonna live through it anyway, who gives a shit? How easy do you think heroes like Batman judges that conflict? What conflict are you talking about? Because if we're talking like a hero like Batman, I think Batman is like legitimately a fucking idiot. I get that not killing the Joker, I get that Batman in a sense has to keep himself good, because if he ever crosses the line, then nothing's stopping him from killing other people. It's like, but also, like, and I get the idea of, like, if you kill one, even if you kill a murderer, even killing a murderer only really amounts to killing a murderer only amounts to the same number of murderers still being alive. But if there's a murderer who's killed 1,000 people, and there's another murderer who's killed 80 people, and there's another murderer who's killed 8, and I kill all 3, the number of murderers have gone down by like 2. If I've killed 17 murderers, the number of murderers have gone down by like, if I kill like 17 murderers, then the number of murders have gone down is like 16. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think a character has motivations because they're scared of death, because they've seen how bad the afterlife is once before would be interesting. That's interesting. That's an interesting concept. No, I actually like that concept. It's very good. Negated the one that Ulquiorra's lance arrows when he held it in his hand. 1 second. I'll get to Ulquiorra in a bit. How easy do you think Batman dodges the conflict of being put in a situation where he's forced to break his what his stance to stop the villain? I don't know. I think that when you have a villain like the Joker, I think that even if you yourself are not the one who's going to kill the Joker, I do think that you should be the one to let the legal system, like, at that point, fight for the legal system to actually put him under, because I don't know, man. Like, the Joker has killed countless people. He has literally abused psychologically and physically hundreds of people. I don't know, man. I think that, like, this is one of those cases where, like, Batman himself doesn't have to kill the fucker, but he shouldn't try to, like, fight his way to, like, try and help them, because there's nothing that helps the Joker. The only thing that'll help the Joker in this case is put him down so nobody has to go through Joker shit again, man. I don't know. Do you think the Light Yagami is correct if he followed his initial goals then? I don't think that Light Yagami is correct, because I also think that, like, let me put it like this, right? I think I do value life. I do innately value life, right? I do think that to a certain extent, life is something that is extremely precious. And when people trample upon something like that, whether it's for a justifiable reason or an immoral reason, I do think that, like, a character like Light Yagami thinking that he can be the judge that kills everybody and everything, I don't think that any one person should have that kind of power. I do think that in a case of, like, the Joker, where he has killed millions, or he has killed tens of thousands, or he has killed thousands, or the shit that he does, I think that people like him should go under. I think that, like, the death penalty should affect somebody like the Joker, because the Joker is innately someone who by all intents and purposes, I think we can all agree it isn't a matter of help. It's a matter of put this man fucking down. Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? Like, what benefit to society could someone like the Joker genuinely offer? What genuine benefit to society could a member like Joker genuinely offer if he could get the help that he needs, if in every single sense of the fucking term, that nothing that he could do could honestly overshadow the shit that he's already done, right? Yeah, it's not Batman's fault, and I know that Bruce Wayne, and I know that Bruce Wayne has also gone out of his way to like fund as much money into Gotham as possible to, you know, stop Gotham from being a shit show. But hey, man, at that point, it's just a matter of the writers at that point just want to make Gotham that fucking big of a fucking problem, dude. Like, I don't know what stops them from at any point just saying, yo, maybe let's write Gotham so it isn't as big of a shit show as it possibly could be, man. I don't know. Like, the writers also have a choice to say, like, there could be a case where Gotham isn't as big of a fucking shit show. I don't know, man. I think that's more of an issue of the writing rather than, or of people choosing to not just let Gotham not be the emotional pigsty that it is, because if we start to see that it is that emotional not emotional, that it is that moral pigsty of what the fuck is Gotham, then I don't know, man. I feel like, oh look, Getsuga Tenshou got parried and stopped again. How can Ichigo legitimately look at another one of his Getsuga Tenshous be stopped at this point and think, yo, what the fuck is happening, man? Like, come on. Like, come on, Ichigo. You've got to reach a point where you realized yourself, like, hey, man, this shit ain't working. I probably should do something different. I don't know, man. What's your last comment? I feel like people drastically underestimate what Batman the Joker has died multiple times and it just doesn't stick. People have just agreed upon this lie because it's funnier. It just doesn't stick. I don't know what you mean. Jason forcing Batman to either kill him or the Joker where he died. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not in that position. If I were me, I would just kill the Joker at that point. If it were me, I would just kill the Joker at that point. But, hey, man, Bruce is someone who is also tormented by the fact that his parents died. So, hey, I have no way to really empathize with Batman at that point. I mean, there can be as many Jokers as they want, but all I'm saying is that whether we're talking about like the first Joker or the 57th Joker, all I'm saying is, man, at some point I feel like the Gotham judicial system should probably say, listen, yo, this dude might be fucked in the head, yeah, sure, but like also, would it really be the worst thing ever if we put a guy that has escaped multiple times that has caused millions of deaths? Is it really like the worst thing in the world, morally speaking, if it comes out on the news that we, the judicial system of Gotham, decided, hey man, maybe this thing should die? Oh, he's gonna try it again? Yo, Ichigo's got... No, I'm sorry. Ichigo is not a smart combatant. Ichigo is genuinely not a smart combatant if Ulquiorra tells him, bro, are you really trying that shit on me again? It's not going to fucking work. Like, come on, man. This move sucks. That means Gotham has really loved the Joker. I mean, it can. I mean, shit, fuck it, right? There's gotta be somebody in the fucking judicial system that thinks, yo... There's got to be someone in the judicial system that just must think, yo, man, maybe there is a chance. Like, listen, I believe in second, third, fourth chances, but at a certain point, I also believe that depending on what the person has done, there may be a justifiable reason to say, yeah, no, we're not going in. There's no saving this. Like, I do think that, like, there are things that are inexcusable, even if I do believe that, like, the world is a lot more gray than it is black and white. Like, things aren't inherently black and white. I do believe that. I do think that, like, if you were to draw, like, let's say a line... Actually, let me just bring it up in Microsoft Paint. Okay. So... Okay. Black. Actually, let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, black, white, right? Like, this line right here is to represent everything that is black and white in this world, right? Now, let me show you. Now, this is what I mean when I say, like, I believe that, like, there is a bigger gray area than there is, like, something that is black and white. This is what I mean by, like, a gray area. This is what I believe. I believe that everything, almost everything that we talk about, everything that we do, everything that exists within the realm of human nature, I think that it does fall into the lines of, like, there is a giant moral gray area. You can argue for good and bad things on almost any front. Nothing is black and white, but there are very few things that are black and white. I don't know, man. I think some of the shit the Joker's done kind of falls into either end of the spectrum that you think is bad. I don't know. Glace's battle IQ and Asta has shit tons of battle IQ. People think he just swings his sword. The double standards are crazy. You know what else the double standards are crazy? Yeah. All I'm saying is, listen, man, God can forgive. If you people tell me that, like, Jesus Christ and God would forgive anybody regardless of what it is, I don't know, man. Maybe show them what the Joker has done and tell me if, like, that shit can be forgiven. I don't know, man. Getsuga, don't do shit show. That's funny. But yeah, Joker should be 6 feet under and in prison. I think that's easily agreed upon. A full heal basically negates the hit, especially when healing costs nothing. There's Pokemon black and white. Yeah. Yeah, but it still got hit, mate. It's not a one-shot. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Oh, you guys are talking about Demon Slayer. Oh, okay. Best IQ Ichigo has with him wrapping his trash move around his sword to protect himself. Now, the best battle IQ shit I've seen for Ichigo was honestly in the Fullbringer arc. Like, unironically, like, the most intelligent decisions that I've seen Ichigo make in terms of, like, his actual fights, I think has just been in the Fullbringer arc when he tries to figure out his capabilities as he tries to, like, understand his Fullbringer more and more. I loathe to admit, but Deku's punches are more useful than Getsuga Tenshou. Yeah, probably. I recently saw, like, the ending to, like, the Deku versus Dark Might fight from, like, the movie. For, like, a movie, that ending kind of did look like it sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Like Deku charging up his way and, like, slingshotting himself, that shit was cool. That shit, I'm not even gonna lie, that shit was cool, but, like, just, you know, thinking that, like, he's using All for One and all the shit that, like, you can do with, like, All for One. Sorry, One for All the thing that you can do for, like, all the shit that you can do with, like, One for All. And, like, I don't know, just Deku just hitting a guy a couple of times with, like, just punches and kicks, which I know that's, like, what the smashes are. I know that that's all that they really are, but, like, to see, like, no actual environmental effect, he's just punch, kick. It's like, I don't know, man. Talking about how terrible Demon Slayer is, the very foundation of the series is awful writing. I have no opinions to go off of, dude. I've read it. I read it through. I thought it was okay. I didn't like the ending. No, I think Ichigo isn't a dumb dude. Switched up his strategies? When did he switch up his strategies? What? Okay, can we talk? Wait, what do you mean by, like, he switches up his strategies, right? Like, what exactly changed about his strategies here? Like, what is Ichigo innately has switched up on? Right? I think even some World War II dictators are more redeemable than the Joker, which would say something. I don't know about that, man. Some of the shit that I've seen some of the dudes in World War II, especially one Austrian painter. I don't know, man. That shit I'd probably put it, maybe not on the same tier as Joker, but about as fucked up, man. I feel, okay, here's the thing, right? I feel like after a certain point, there's just a level of fucked up where it doesn't matter if things get more fucked up, it's still fucked up, right? Like, you have things that are big fuck-ups, and then you have things that are just straight up fucked up no matter how you twist and turn it. This is what I mean by, like, black and white. Like, the things that go into, like, that minimal space of, like, black or white, I feel like it doesn't matter at that point what the range of, like, the shit that we're talking about is. If it does fall into those categories of, like, just objectively being bad, I don't know if, like, comparing it to something else saying, oh, but it's not as bad technically speaking. Like, no, it's still pretty fucking bad, dude. I don't know, man. How big is Las Noches, man? I don't know. Man, I really wish Kubo would have said, man, Las Noches is actually the size of a country, man. Is Naruto about as stale as Ichigo in combat because he has little versatility? I would 100% disagree with that, dude. I would 100% disagree with that. Let me ask you something, right? What does Ichigo really have in his arsenal, right? Like, let's actually talk about this for a second, right? What is Ichigo? What are like Ichigo's moves in terms of his arsenal, right? Okay, random nonsense to talk about with chat, right? Let's talk about Ichigo's moveset, right? Ichigo's moveset / versatility. Okay. Ichigo's moveset / versatility, right? Copy. Paste. Naruto's. Okay. Let's start here. He's got Getsuga, Tenshou, Naruto, Shadow Clones, Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken, because it is a different jutsu, Summoning Jutsu, Transformation Jutsu, specifically the Harem Jutsu, Transformation Jutsu. Okay, sure. Well, okay, where Ichigo, let's talk about, okay, what other shit does he have? Oh, well, he has Bankai. And, Holification. Okay, well, if we're gonna talk about Ichigo's power-ups, then let's talk about Naruto's power-ups. Sage Mode. KCM. I mean, Blut Ven, sure. We'll throw in Blut Ven. He used it one time. We'll use Blut Ven. Sero, but he uses it one time. Are we really going to use Flash Step? Because if I give Ichigo Flash Step... Okay, if you want me to give Ichigo Shunpo... I'll give him Shunpo. Sure, I'll give him Flash Step. You know what I'm going to give Naruto? You know... Teleportation Jutsu. / Body Flicker. Sure, you want to throw that in, I can just give Naruto Teleportation / Body Flicker. Because that is a technique. Choose one to live, the others die. Sukuna. 10 times out of 10, Sukuna. What's not a fair comparison? I gave Ichigo Getsuga Tenshou, Bankai, which is a power-up, Holification, which is a power-up, Blut Ven that he uses once, Sero that he uses once, and Flash Step, which is something all Soul Reapers can use, but go off. What did I give Naruto? Used Mud Wall. Sure, I could, if you want me to throw in Mud Wall, I could throw in Mud Wall. Boruto clears Ichigo in terms of moveset. Oh, I believe that, but like, what's not a fair comparison? I gave Naruto his 2 power-ups as well, and his jutsu. Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken. If you want me, Jujisho. Oh, you want me to talk about variants? Sure, I'll give him the one variant. Getsuga Tenshou / Jujisho. Okay, now let me just do something real quick. Rasengan. You want to talk about Ichigo? Okay, so you want to talk about the Getsuga Jujisho as if it's something different, right? Because, okay, he uses 2 swords instead of once, right? You want to use that? Okay, let's talk about the Rasengan. There you go. All of this right here. There you go. Throw like half of these in for Naruto. Can you really count Sage Mode? Sage Jutsu? Yeah. Okay, can I really count Sage Jutsu? Can I really count Bankai? It's not really his own thing, nor is the teleportation. Yeah, no, Naruto uses Body Flicker. How do you think he dodged the Raikage? How do you think he dodged him? Come on, listen, I get it. You like the character, Sukuna. I get it. You like the character. You don't want me to talk bad about Bleach. You don't want me to talk about some of the negatives or to make comparisons and think that, okay, well, Sage Mode isn't the same thing as Bankai, which both are 10 times amps. Like, You want me to, like, if you want me to talk about comparisons, I'm going to give you comparisons. If you want to talk about Flash Step, I'm going to talk about Teleportation and Body Flicker. I don't see why one is important and the other isn't. If you want to talk about Holification, I'm going to talk about KCM. If you want to talk about Getsuga Tenshin Jujitsu, I'm going to just throw in all of the fucking Rasengan variants that Naruto can use. As a matter of fact, here's one I didn't use. I gave him Sero. Here's one I didn't throw in. Tailed Beast Bomb. Come on, man. You can't, like, this is not biased. This is not unfair. This is me being fair. Because if I give Ichigo something, I'm going to give the same thing to Naruto. That's what being fair is. Naruto learned Sage Mode. You know what Ichigo also learned? Holification. Ichigo learned Bankai. You know what Naruto learned? Kurama Chakra Mode. See how it is? What's the issue? I don't get what the issue. If the all existed Sukuna is the one you showed mercy to, I would definitely show Sukuna more mercy to, because that's my king. That's my king. And that's not even talking about like items and shit. Like Ryan Brook mentioned, Naruto's got kunais, paper bombs, smoke bombs, and fucking shuriken throws, bro. Like, what do you want me to say here? Can we throw Luffy's in? Where does he stack up here? Okay, you want me to throw in Luffy? Sure, I'll throw in Luffy. Luffy's moveset. Luffy's moveset / versatility. Sure, let's do it for Luffy as well. Sure. I'm gonna be honest. Shit. C-O-A C-O-O C-O-O. Ah, damn it. C-O-O C-O-C C-A-C-O-A A-C-O-O A-C-O-C. There you go. I already gave you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just talking about the different variations of hockey, I've already got Luffy with more things just off of that. Let's talk about gears. Gears. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's talk about Gum Gum. Let's talk about the fact that he knows how to do Soru, the shave ability. That's how he moves so fast. Could the Scooby Gang solve the Kira case? If they get anywhere near close to Kira, they're getting fucking murked, dude. They were not smart enough to not tell him their names. They are not smart enough to not tell him their names, bruh. Yeah, if you want to say Geppo, I mean, yeah, technically. Nightmare Luffy versus Vasto Lord Ichigo when? And mind you, body stretch in general, what else do you want me to talk about? Are we adding movie and filler forms, right? There's none of this is movie or filler shit. Why do you need me to add movie or filler? What do you want me to add? What do you want me to add for Ichigo? Hell stuff? Okay, sure. And you know what I'll add for Naruto? KCM plus fucking KCM1 plus Sage Mode, dude. I'll throw in Lava Style, Ross and shit. Like, the shit that I could give Ichigo for his movie still doesn't stack up to the shit I could just give Naruto based on just the variety of Rasengans. And, oh yeah, for Luffy, every single Gum Gum attack. Every single Gum Gum move. I don't know what you want me to tell you, dude. Ichigo does not have a very wide and varied moveset. Ichigo does not have a very wide or varied moveset. He really doesn't. It's big attack, 2 power-ups, a defense thing he gets in the final arc that he uses once, a big blast that he uses twice, and Shunpo. Cool. That's all Ichigo has. He does not have a versatile moveset. He does not use it in any interesting ways. He just moves fast, hits hard, drive fast, eat ass. That's all he does. Ichigo just drives fast and eats ass. That's all he does, man. Look at him, eating ass. The fuck is this? Like, he doesn't have versatility. That's not me being disingenuous. I mean, versatility, I guess 5, 6 things are cool, but shit, man, I don't know what to tell you. The final boss wasn't Mr. Clean type shit. He coded up his sword, and Getsuga Tenshou is one of the smartest plays possibly in the series. Dude, come on. You can't sit here and say that him coding his attack is one of the smartest plays in the series. Because if that's really one of the smartest plays, then I'm sorry to tell you this, but any One Piece character that uses armament hockey to block themselves, I'm sorry then. Let me just show you something then. Let me just show you something. If that is genuinely speaking, if you're being genuine, if you're not being disingenuous and just trying to give Ichigo whatever cope-filled argument you want to do in order to justify the fact that this guy has no versatility and next to no battle IQ because he doesn't ever try anything new, then let's talk about something. Because if Ichigo coding himself last second in whatchamacallit, in Getsuga Tenshou is supposed to be like massive versatility and super interesting bullshit and blah 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 blah, then hey man, I guess that was close. I'd be dead if I hadn't put up my armament hockey in time. I guess Zoro is just as smart as just created one of the smartest plays in all of Bleach. By that logic, this is one of the smartest plays in all of One Piece, dude. Come on, man. Like, I get liking characters. I get enjoying a series. I understand wanting to defend the things that you like. But at a certain point, you're literally just pulling shit out of your ass in order to say the thing that is mid isn't mid, man. I don't know, man. Sorry. Sorry. That was rude. That was mean of me. I don't know, man. Like, if we're really gonna call something as low, something as, I guess you could say, as instinctive as just putting up your quote-unquote strongest attack up last second to protect yourself is supposed to be a genius play, a 500 IQ move, then man, I guess Zoro, by Bleach standards, is a fucking genius, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being biased. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased. Maybe I'm just not seeing the value in Ichigo putting up an attack last second. That might just be me though. I never downloaded any of this crap. Wait a second. I really didn't. That's insane to me. I really never downloaded this crap. Wait a second. Hey, wait a minute. Let me check something real quick. Covers Fate Karakura Town. Oh no. Really? 47. I just re-downloaded all these images again. Fuck me, dude. I just re-downloaded all this crap again. Did I get everything? Well, nothing. Okay. What do I not need? 333, 316. Everything between 316, 313. Okay. So everything from... Okay, so everything from here down, I don't need. I have to just delete this. Okay, good. Do not let Sukuna add 2010 fan art forms. I don't know, man. To block in the last in his against Delta. Yeah, I guess. Are people still naming Luffy's movesets? That's fucking crazy. Ikaku has better battle IQ than Ichigo, and Ikaku's a kind of a bum. I would say he has better prep. I don't know, maybe him having like that dysentery stuff. I guess that's like better, so to speak. Do I already have the Fate Karakura Town stuff too? I should, right? I should have the Aizen defeat stuff too. Okay. Yeah, Aizen defeated, blah 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 blah. Getsuga Tenshou did do nothing here too, sure. Okay, so I have all of this crap as well. Okay, I have all of that. I have all of this. I have this, and that. Okay, so I have all of that crap as well. Okay, let's move on to TYBW. Guys, I need TYBW chapters. I need to know where... I'm not looking this shit up. I need to know what fights Ichigo's been in, because I have no fucking clue. And I'm not reading this. How far does Yu Yu Hakusho from Yu Yu Hakusho make it into One Piece? He's probably strong enough to fight all the top tiers, but he just does not have the speed. Like, Yusuke Urameshi, unironically, do not... Yu Yu Hakusho from Yu Yu Hakusho, unironically, as far as all the videos I've seen on him, does not have good speed scaling. Okay, this dude shows up. I've heard it's star level shit. Yeah, I've heard it's star level shit too, but I've also heard he's not that fast for whatever reason. This is the end. Okay, is that what it is? Blah, blah, blah. Melt. Okay, he does beat a guy with Getsuga Tenshou, right? Let me keep reading. You know what? Let me take back what I said. Like, who the fuck is this dude? Fuck it, I'm just downloading this. TYBW. Cool. Isn't the spirit gun supposed to be light? It's been a while since... I don't know, man. I have no fucking clue. I couldn't tell you. From the from the scaling that I've seen from like 6 from Tokyo on YouTube, it just seems like they're just not that fast. Like, I don't think Yu Yu Hakusho actually has any light speed scaling. But then again, do not listen to me, because I've never read Yu Yu Hakusho past, like, the first episode. Which fight is more engaging? Ichigo versus Aizen or Godzilla? Godzilla versus Kong was dope as fuck, because at least in that movie, I got to see Godzilla suplex a giant fucking ape, dude. Not that fast as in, like... Not that fast as in, like, slower than lightning. I think they're slower than lightning. If I'm correct, I think it's like they're slower than lightning. Oh, look, it's Nazi Jesus. 8487, thank you. Alright, we're just gonna click through here. Jesus Christ, what happened to Halle Bell? I mean, she's not that strong to begin with, in my opinion, so whatever. Hey, look, it's Las Noches. Currents are connected, quite ordinary at foot. We're here. Gilga, sure. Sure. Starting from right now, blah, blah, blah. Fucks them up. Fuck those two chicks up. Sure, stops it. Oh, these ladies, cool. Sure. Oh, curb stomps them. Cool. Ichigo victims. Yeah. Could have sworn Ishido is the only Quincy who uses their bows. Sends him back. So avoid, deflect, and then hurl back my high leg cliff. My Heilig Fiel with your bare hands. I didn't know you Quincy's arrows had weird names like that. Yeah. This possibly cannot be true. Quincy. Okay. It's the proper in its name. It's a Quincy Volstendig. I don't care if the trash ass series. My old victims. Blitzes. Cool, cool, cool. That's a relief. If Ishio transforms into a creepy form like yours, I might accidentally slice him up. It's getting a little weaker. Getsuga Tenshou. Of aiming your attacks. Have you heard the concept of aiming your attacks? Sure. If I stream tonight in the server, I'll be doing some Kaizo Roaring Knight. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. Jesus, this is taking forever. Okay, it's such a shame for my holy wings to be tainted by a wicked beast. Yeah. Actually, I'll just take this so that it just shows the transformation. I'll download like the rest of the chapters. I'll read it in due time. I just need to know if Getsuga Tenshou actually does beat anything. Ichigo versus Zoro versus Sasuke versus Tanjiro. No powers, sword only. I don't know, man. You're asking me no powers, so they're all equalized. So at that point, it's completely subjective based on who you think was low-key aura farming. If you say so, if you think so. I don't know. I feel like the term aura farming at this point has just been. I don't know. I feel like anyone just says that anything at this point is aura farming. Oh look, Yuhabok standing there. He's aura farming. I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, he got blasted. Cool. Yeah. Okay, I don't care about any of these people. Cool. All trash. Yeah. They got their shit stolen. I'll read this later. It really doesn't do a damn thing. Absorb that monster strength. Yeah. This man is able to outmatch me easily. Yeah. Utterly preposterous. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he gets a phone. By the way, this is like the coolest iteration of like Ichigo's design when it comes to like his Bankai and his Shikai and all that other crap. Jesus, Chad got fucked up, dude. Chad got fucked up, dude. Sure. Getsuga does nothing. Yeah, does nothing. Brothers hate binging. I think the word you're looking for is oversaturated. Yes, my bad. Oversaturated. Oh no. Even my Getsuga can't break through? Yeah, because Getsuga Tenshou's ass, bro. I don't know why you believe that Getsuga Tenshou would ever get you out of anything, Ichigo. You have used it for so long, and you have gotten absolutely nothing out of it. I know. Is it really jaw-dropping, though? Is it genuinely jaw-dropping? Like, oh wow, the Soul Reaper Fullbringer Hollow guy is also a Quincy? Cool, man. I guess if somebody's reading this for the first time, their jaw might drop, I suppose. I don't know. Me personally, wouldn't be the case. Yeah. Bankai. Oh, look, Yamamoto's Bankai. Yeah. Yeah. Cool Bankai. It actually is a cool Bankai. I don't care about anything Yamamoto right now. Like... But, oh, wait. Another example of the shit I'm talking about. Guys, we got to see Yamamoto's Bankai. Jesus fucking Christ. Why does this look like this? What the actual fuck, man? What are we gonna miss? You guys have already seen the anime. Oh, look, Yamamoto's Bankai. It's sick. Like, Yamamoto's Bankai is legitimately sick. This is one of the things where I say that, like, listen, Kubo can definitely draw a power to look cool and be fearsome and scary and shit like that. I'll give it to you, man. This is crazy. Why does my protagonist only send out a shockwave that does nothing while this random old man has a Bankai that brings the dead back to life and attacks his opponent while wearing an armor of searing flame and a blade that is so hot it disintegrates everything that it touches? Yet I'm supposed to believe that my main protagonist doesn't do jack shit with his signature move, man. Come on. Like, oh, and also, this is the part that really pisses me off. By the way, this is fucking crazy. This right here is fucking insane. Why would anyone think... Why the fuck... Okay, like, I get it, they're in Japan or whatever. Who the fuck told Kubo, yeah, no, this works, bro. You could totally draw that. Anyway. Battle is important. Eon, for what? What is it important for in the context of what I'm looking for? And that's Getsuga Tenshou, my guy. What is it important for? Yamamoto shows up, uses his Bankai, and then gets one shot by fucking Yuhabaha. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Whenever you see a character do something cool, they just immediately get torn down and ripped to shreds. Alter reality? Where is it stated that Ichigo can alter reality? Where did you get that from? Can you give me the chapter where it stated Ichigo can alter reality? It's important for power scaling. I'm not... Okay, Thors, I don't care about the power scaling. This is not a stream where I'm going to look at the power scaling. This is a stream where, as we talked about yesterday, where you guys voted, I'm going to tell you why Getsuga Tenshou is the worst main protagonist signature move. If it has nothing to do with Ichigo Kurosaki specifically using Getsuga Tenshou, I could give 2 fiddly fucks or 2 tears in a bucket. I'm not kidding. I don't care about the power scaling. This is not about power scaling for me right now. I just care about looking at why this move sucks. So I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep clicking through. I don't care what story significance. I don't care. Wait, guys, let him cook. Guys, wait, hold on. Guys, real quick. Let me cook. The only thing I care about right now is just Getsuga Tenshou. If it's not Getsuga Tenshou related, I couldn't care any less. All hate aside, Save the Soul Society panel stuff is tough. Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, listen, I'll save all this stuff whenever I decide to come back to the series and read it and actually learn how to power scale it. I'm not doing that right now for TYBW. None of this means anything to me. I just want to make a video about why Getsuga Tenshou is a terrible dog-ass move that doesn't do a single damn thing. Oh look, Blutven. Is this impossible? This is Blutven. Bankai energy users is still important narratively. His death is a big deal. Cool. It's all a big deal. I agree with you. Thor's hammer, I agree with you. It has narrative implications. It's a very big deal. It has a lot of energy usage. Again, I agree with you entirely. I know that the reason why Yamamoto lost was A, because he wasted his energy fighting a fake version of Yuhabak. I am aware that he lost because he's no longer the same Yamamoto that he was 1,000 years ago. I've seen the TYBW first core. I've seen the core, man. I know what happens in it. I've seen the stuff. That's fine. None of that has to do with Ichigo and Getsuga Tenshou. He killed Yuhabak with altering fate. Yuhabak something with altering fate. He doesn't use Trasho in this fight. Cool. Yeah. Fuck it, I'll save this. I'll save these. I can try to find the altering fate panel. I'll be back. Yeah, please do. I'm gonna get there eventually. We're gonna get there eventually either. You don't have to, but we're gonna get there eventually. Okay, when's the next Ichigo fight? When does he go to do the Squad 13 shit? I don't need to like read anything here, right? All of this is irrelevant. No one gives a shit, right? Still irrelevant. Oh, back's who cares? Wait, let me see something. Which of the big three has the most old man masters? I don't know, man. I'm just focusing on this right now. Also, I really need to stop not eating in the day. I have to go on. I should have woken up earlier and unfrosted that chicken. Yeah. Oh look, it's Old Man Yama. Yeah. The blade is me. Scaling above Yamamoto's Bankai still hardly doing anything. Getsuga Tenshou starts to make other characters look worse by how much it fails. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, listen, it's not about whether or not the other characters are weak. This is not a thing about strength. This is not a thing about power. This is not a thing to say that if a character is, for some whatever reason, weaker than Getsuga Tenshou, or if a character does not have the same power as Ichigo with his Getsuga Tenshou, I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm just saying that as a move, it fails to do the thing that the move wants to do, and it's either damage the opponent or actually beat the opponent. Emu, solos, okay, I don't know about that. Why is Chad coming back, man? You know, every time I see a character with like a blanket over them, something to like, you know, like kind of show that like, oh, we're gonna be like in this nomadic state, or we're gonna be like moving onward or whatever. I don't know, man. I always feel like it's gonna be like some new thing that the character's gonna be able to provide, and then holy shit, oh. This is pretty cool. Save this in covers. Your last comment. I mean, what do you want me to tell you about your last comment? I will not spoil the last leak of... Okay. Thank you. Thank you for not spoiling. I'm excited for the new chapter, I suppose. The cape from the Soul Society was sick. Yoroichi should have never given it to Ichigo. He wasted it. Yeah. I did like some of like the fit changes that Ichigo went throughout like the Soul Society arc, but then, you know, it just, damn. Ichigo gets stuff done. I mean, okay. That's it. So does Luffy and so does Naruto. What the fuck is this? What the fuck does that mean? At least Ichigo gets stuff done. I would hope that at least one character in the story gets stuff done, man. I would hope that at least one character in the story gets stuff done. Especially if it's the main protagonist. I don't know. Guys, look! The most useless character in the entire context of the story. The guy who sacrificed his own heart became a furry just to not even... in order to fight the final villain of the story, just to not beat the final villain of the story. Guys, let's talk about how... One second. Let's talk about how he did all of this just to beat this fucking scrawny brat. Oh, but Eon, she's not that bad. She's actually pretty powerful. I don't care. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck likes Bambietta? Who the fuck likes Bambietta? And furthermore, look at this guy. Gave his power into hatred. Very good, very good. Have you realized it? Realize the feeling that drives you? Is that revenge? The very same self-sacrificing revenge that you decried with such passion when speaking with your friend? But that is for the best, for revenge is the true nature of our clan. It seems you have finally returned to us. Return to your family. Oh, look at that. The worst captain in the Gotei 13 sacrificed his heart in order to get a power-up in order to fight the final villain. Doesn't get to the final villain. The bitch he fights survives, and then he becomes a dog and is written off for the rest of the series. God, Kubo is such a great writer! Shit, man. A lot of people like Bambietta, sure, I suppose. Cool. People didn't like how Shinji lost to Bambietta without using the mask, but I think the moment was natural. I think that was stupid. I think it was stupid that he lost to her because he didn't use his hollow mask. I think that was really a really stupid choice by the author. Why didn't the guy who can give himself an automatic 10 times amp to all of his stats just not holify. Oh, because we want to respect Yamamoto. We want to respect. Bro, this is war. Let's have some Byakuya Kuchiki from the Soul Society fucking mentality for a second, man. This is war. Rules don't matter at that point, and upholding the wishes of a guy who's dead, who at this point doesn't even remotely matter. Yeah, sure. People are gonna die, but I'm gonna choose to respect that. Yeah. Fucking Shinji losing to Bambietto was one of the dumbest things I had ever seen, man. Any of the fucking visored captains losing because they chose to not holify is so fucking stupid, especially when you understand that the context of, like, the Quincy's having a natural weakness to fucking hollows for whatever the fuck the reason was, would have probably have helped them out a lot in the long run, man. Yeah, and his hollow mask is cool too. I wanted to see it, man. I wanted to see the hollow mask. I wanted him to put on the fucking hollow mask, dude. Oh man, it's so crazy to me, bro. It's so fucking crazy to me, dude. Does Bambietto ever come back? I saw her get, like, fucked up. They use holification later in the war? I would hope so, man. I would hope so. Because, God, I don't recall anything for, like, the latter half of this crap. Doesn't she use lightning? Weren't you guys going after, like, out of a whole, like... Weren't you guys, like, a couple of streams ago going, like, in, like, a back and forth about, what was it exactly? It was like Bambi only has, like, lightning tier speed or whatever. It was some BS like that, right? Without the scaling stats, the Quincy's are strong enough to beat the Shinobi Alliance. I don't know, man. Yes, as a zombie, the Visors are some of the best characters of Bleach, yet they don't get the respect they deserve. Kuro's best writing by far not utilized. Yeah, her team lives and gets to experiment and gets experimented on by Mayuri. That's crazy. Yeah. Ichigo's knocking around. Yeah. No. Getsuga Tenshou. Oh, look, he stopped the attack. Don't tell me I'm on. God damn it, I'm on covers again. We need to start putting up like some kind of a counter or whatever to show every time I fuck up and put there we go. Yeah, we need a counter or something. Every time Eon downloads an image to the wrong file. Dude, I don't know, man. Oh, wait, that's One Piece. I wouldn't want to sully it with mid. Let me stop. That's just mean. That's just me being mean. Alright, we're back to this crap. Okay. Guys. I got an idea for Getsuga Tenshou. What if Ichigo used Getsuga Tenshou, but twice? How flawed do you think One Punch Man and Saitama's narrative is? I don't know. I haven't read it. I watched the first season and I saw the Garo fight, and that was it. The Jujisho Tenshou could have killed her, and by the way, could have one-shot her. Let's give my man some credit here. Did it though. But did it though. I don't know. It doesn't look like she's dead. It doesn't look like she's dead, man. I don't know. You're saying let's give our man some respect here, but it didn't beat her. I'm hoping. Listen, I'm sitting here waiting and hoping that at least one of these Getsugas kills somebody. I'm hoping. I just want to see somebody be defeated by Getsuga Tenshou. Somebody that could actually be considered a threat. His narrative is beating any fight in one punch. Oh, I mean, that's the joke, right? I don't know if it's the narrative, but it's definitely the joke. I don't know if... Because he definitely isn't the One Punch Man. I would definitely say he's not the One Punch Man, but sure. Didn't he, like, not beat somebody, like a lion guy in, like, the first arc of the series before the Boros fight in One Punch? It was, like, the Lion King or whatever, right? The King Lion or whatever the fuck that dude was. He, Guys, look, Chad showed up, and so did Orihime. And why are they getting thrown around? What are you doing? You're not the only one who was shocked to seeing Ishida, but what good will it do if we just sit around stressing about it? Ishida, we're talking about, he wouldn't make a decision so lightly. I don't... Man, the most Chad has done so far is pick up Ichigo and throw him. A lot of people still disagree to argue that true Shikar Bankai is somewhat compared to final Getsuga Tensho form. I mean, hey, listen, if it is, cool, man. But wouldn't Ichigo just be capable of using final Getsuga Tensho? Isn't Ichigo just able to still use final Getsuga Tensho? Doesn't he just know how to use it? Why, like, I don't know, why not just use it against Yhwach? Maybe because becoming Getsuga Tensho, he realized that it doesn't do a single damn thing, therefore I'd be wasting my time trying to beat Yhwach with it. I mean, if the Shinigami and the Soul Reapers are just going to give him his powers back at any other point, what would it matter whatsoever if he decided to just, this super powered up version of Ichigo also decides to just throw in final Getsuga Tensho? I don't know, man. That's just me, though. That's just me thinking, though. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Because, if there's no stakes, if there's no consequence for using final Getsuga Tensho at this point, I would assume that if it offers me a massive power-up that I can use to then attempt to one-shot a villain with a move that arguably doesn't actually do a single damn thing, I would probably argue, damn, this would probably be a very good move to use. Also, listen, Kubo has a lot of good designs. He also has a lot of bad designs. I'm not gonna lie. Only two characters Saitama fought and not being in one punch were Boros and Cosmic Garo. No. He also fought the Lion guy. I saw the consecutive normal punches. Yeah, but Kubo never brings up Getsuga again. Kubo's being a troll. Yeah, that's fair. If you want to say that he's being a troll, I mean, sure. Right. You thought about restarting One Punch Man sometime. It's a pretty fast read. Not really. I don't care for it. I don't like Saitama's design. I don't think he's an interesting character in the slightest bit. Oh, he started off the series already at the end game. Cool. I've seen the videos. I've watched the stuff. I've seen the series. I get the gist. It's not interesting to me. And if it's just for power scaling purposes, I don't care to watch something just for power scaling purposes. I want to watch something or I want to read something because it genuinely entices me from a narrative perspective, from a reading perspective, It follows a lot of the same issues that I have, where, like, I like Genos as a character, but Genos sucks, right? I want to like other characters that aren't just the main protagonist, but they don't get rewarded to the same extent as just Saitama showing up at the end, so why should I care to read it? Final disappointment show? Is it stronger than the version of Ichigo, plus Yhwach would just stop him beforehand? Probably. Even if Final Getsuga Tensho was strong enough, Yhwach would just come back. Almighty GG's. Yeah, probably. You're not wrong. That's the thing. You're not wrong. That could probably also be the case. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. He could have beaten the Lion guy in multiple punches. I don't disagree with you, but he didn't. Therefore, it wasn't the final therefore, he's not the One Punch Man. By the sheer virtue of Saitama not actually using one single punch to defeat some random fodder villain, at least within the context of the story, it generally just completely destroys the narrative that he is actually the One Punch Man. Just saying. Sen Ritter N. Do you see it is all over for us? What are you saying? We have been judged to be unnecessary in the battles to come. I would not expect newcomers like yourselves to understand, to know how terrifying His Majesty can be. The Stern Ritters exist for His Majesty's sake. His Majesty does not care for lies. There can be no doubt in our purpose. The Stern Ritters cannot be done. The necessary will become fuel for our Majesty. Oshvalin. Cool. Look at that. It's Oshvalin. Be interested. He can be interested, but the author dodges a lot of the potential growth, character growth. Saying Saitama is an interesting character is weird to me. Why don't you think he's interesting? Just curious. He's a bald guy who became this strong because he did push-ups and sit-ups. That's funny. That's not interesting to me. Like, I hate, you know what, I'm just gonna say it. I hate the fact that nowadays on the internet, things seem to be just okay, or everything is just justified by the simple fucking fact that something is fun, or funny, or whatever, right? And maybe sometimes it doesn't need to really have a lot more, but like, for me, Saitama get to that point isn't anything interesting, and it doesn't really show for good writing. It's just, this guy, for whatever reason, broke his limiter, and by just doing some basic strength core training. That's not interesting to me. It doesn't show a journey. It doesn't show anything. He's strong and he's bored because of the simple objective fact that he got too strong too quickly off of some random fucking training. That's really just what it is, man. That's really just what it is. You have all of these other characters with corny names, granted. And again, if it's corny and if it's supposed to be a parody, and if it's supposed to, just, try to be like some kind of a statement on how serious characters have to be and how serious the names have to be and how everything has to be cool and stuff, I get it, but it doesn't interest me when it's all, again, just meant to be taken as a joke at the end of the day. And then, when you have, like, the serious moments, because Saitama is not a gag character. You could say parody, but parody and gags are completely different things. He might be making fun of the concept of, like, serious shonens and all that stuff, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if the whole point of the character in most of the series is just this Tank Top Tiger, you have Tank Top Tiger, you have some random guy that's, like, goes to jail, Puri Puri prisoner, wherever the fuck it is, like characters like that which have dog shit names or have bad concept, or where like one of the strongest, the number one S-class hero is, his name is Blast. It's like, I don't know, man, like, you might be able to say that there is some kind of depth to all this stuff, and like, the stakes do get high and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't seem all that remotely interesting to me when it's just, it's all supposed to be taken as not seriously, but then it wants me to take it seriously, and then it's like, Saitama, at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about anything, because Saitama's just going to win at the end of the day. And not even in like a case of like, again, like Luffy, where like he has to like really fight for his way up to like beat Kaido, where he has to get beaten a bunch of times to beat Kaido. No, Saitama will just grow exponentially to a point where he will just beat the guy, and yeah, that's not interesting to me. Why can Saitama stop a hyperspace hole that Garo sent him through? I don't fucking know. It doesn't explain. He's just because he can, and that's just the reason. He does everything because he can, and I just don't like that. I don't think that's interesting. I don't think that's good writing. I just think he's just strong, or he just does things for the sake of being strong or doing things. Yeah, and Saitama isn't there a majority of the time, but everything is invalidated by the fact, but it's the Superman syndrome. Right, but it's the Superman syndrome where when Genos gets, maybe it's because I've only seen season 1. So again, understand that for me, it's only because I've seen season 1, but it's the syndrome of Genos does something cool or gets a cool upgrade to his gear and stuff, but it ultimately amounts to nothing, right? And everything at the end of the day, it's just Superman syndrome, where it's, I just have to wait for Superman or Saitama to show up and everything will be okay. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like having characters ultimately mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, but being the guys that can hold off the villain until the good guy gets there. In a case that you could say it's like what happens with Yamato, but unlike with like Yamato, like holding off Kaido, for example. Luffy's already fought Kaido. Luffy's already been taken down by Kaido. He's coming back to fight Kaido again. And I think that's the difference there. It's generally meant to be a story about a character around Saitama. He's entirely meant to be based around Superman syndrome because it's a build-up. And I get that, but I just don't like that. And that's the thing. I just don't like that. That context. Yeah. If the context is just, like, this is just another case of Superman syndrome, that's completely fine, and I'm not saying anybody shouldn't like that, but I just don't care for that. I just don't care for Superman-like characters where everything is going to be fine as soon as this character shows up, and everything is in peril because they have to send him into a side quest. Like, the only reason the villains get as far as they do is because Saitama is in a side quest. That's really just what it is. That's not really the case for the majority of the time. That's just Geno's development. I mean, sure, but you can't tell me that it's not the case for Saitama, where just wait around until Saitama runs into the guy that he has to beat and then just give him enough time so he can grow strong enough so he can beat him. That's what it is, man. Like, we can disagree. We can agree to disagree, but that's just where it's going to be. I'm not going to change my mind on it unless I get some actual explanation as to why Saitama is actually as strong as he is, and until I get to actually see some pushback where when I actually get to see him lose. As a matter of fact, I think seeing Saitama objectively get thrashed in a fight would be the most interesting thing about all when it comes to the entirety of One Punch Man. But that's it. But that's just me. You might say it might ruin the context of One Punch Man, but I don't know. It might just give it enough for the context of the story for me to be like, you know what? I might actually give this a look. Alright, Yhwach absorb the power, new world, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I also don't care for Superman, so for different reasons, but yeah. Man, this is like the 4th or 5th time they've ran into Yhwach and have done like nothing, and like nothing's like really happened. God might thrash Saitama, and I hope he does. I hope that God, within the context of the Saitama series, with the One Punch Man series, does thrash Saitama. I would like to see that. Not because I want to see Saitama lose, but because I think it would actually throw in some stakes and some actual interest into the story. Because if it just boils down to, again, Saitama shows up, but this time he's actually upset. This time he decides to go all out, and he just beats God at the end of it by just growing stronger. Then, I mean, hey man, listen. Yeah. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. It's not going to get me to want to watch the series anymore. I don't think I would ever actually look at One Punch Man even from a scaling perspective. I would have no reason to. Because I would just slog through it just waiting. Okay. This guy's weaker than Saitama. It all just boils down to everyone is just weaker than Saitama. I don't like a series where it just boils down to everyone is just weaker than this person. That's really what it is. There's also a moron for not finishing Ichigo off when he had the chance. He's had many chances. I don't know how many chances, but I mean, I guess it's just one of those cases where, I guess in reality, it is just one of those cases where, like, I have no reason to stop him because at the end of the day, they can't stop me. I believe that they can't stop me. I don't know, man. It feels that way. Beat God, obviously, but he'll probably only have an equal degree of combat with him. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. We don't know. I've seen so many people say One Punch Man would have been way more interesting if Saitama was never there. I think there are things about One Punch Man that one could say in certain contexts could be more interesting if, like, there was an uphill battle. Because you want to always root for the little guy. It's one of the reasons why people like Mummin Wright or whatever the fuck that reject's name is, right? Because he is the underdog. People like, there's a natural affinity for people to want to see the underdog win. It's basic human nature. Wasn't normal. His training was done daily and he never gave his body time to recover, so instead of dying, he survived and he kept training, breaking whatever the limiters are. Okay, that doesn't make it any better. He still did basic strength training. All he did was just basic strength training and just broke his limiter. That's really it. What's interesting about that? At least in my opinion, there isn't any. If you want to say it is, that's fine. You're not going to convince me that it is. No amount of rewording it, no amount of look at it from this person. No, it's just not interesting to me. It just will not change it. It's just not going to be an interesting concept for me. I would have to see so much be done with that to make a contact like that. Or at least, like, you know, make it seem in a way where, like, Saitama was doing this and he kept realizing he wasn't strong enough. Maybe he just kept doing that basic strength training because it was all he could do and eventually did it. I don't know. Maybe add something to it. Performance for his power-up is really bad. The ineffective most of the time, where you would like to see where you are like, why did Kubo kill off Unohana? Yeah, that's also another thing. Like, I mean, listen, Kenpachi's a character that will win because Unga Bunga wins. It's not reworded in perspective. That's literally what it is. Okay? And that's boring to me. What I'm saying is you could try to word it in any other way. It's not going to change the fact that it is boring to me. And there's nothing about that is even remotely interesting. There is nothing about a concept of a guy doing basic strength training and doing it nonstop for a year that is going to make me think, dude, every day for a year or however long he did it, it's not going to make me think, oh man, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was funny when it came out, but even when I saw it coming out, I was like, I'm telling you what it actually is. No, okay, yeah. And yeah. Also, guys, I'm going to skip this because I don't want to complain about what's-her-face defeating a powerful being in her first fight. So you were not moved by Kenpachi versus Gerard? They were legit going at it. I'll get to that when I get to it. I need a refresher. Okay. Gerard, the Valkyrie. Broken ass ability, by the way. Yeah, no, but he Unga Bungas. But why would I be when he Unga Bungas? That's all they think. Strange. A miracle is miraculous because it occurs when all seems lost. Was that one guy had one trick up his sleeve. The big trick was big enough he would make it a whole one shot. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't take his chances. Scary guy. Cool. What the hell? My name is Gerard Valkyrie, the miracle. My power is to exchange anything damaged with a replacement. With a replacement the size of a god. Let's say this once more. Congratulations on injuring me so gravely, as might be expected from Clapton-class warriors of the Gotei 13. For this, I have grown to a greater size than ever before. Cool. 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 Powerless, powerless. It must be terrifying to be so powerless, but do not cry or anguish, for no matter how much you cry, no miracle will save you. Cool. Is Golem doing finger push-ups under strong gravity more interesting? What's Golem? I don't know what you're talking about. Byakuya attacked a person mid-dialogue, so how doesn't he get one up on them? That was pretty cool. Okay, if you think so. Okay. I'm just skipping through it, so I'm not really taking the dialogue or anything into consideration. With Gerard, he was going to win if Yuhabak didn't stop Gerard. He would have overwhelmed Kenpachi's Bankai with how Kubo wrote his ability to grow and regenerate. Oh, Goku. Under gravity? Yeah, but the thing is that, like, with Goku, he has to do this kind of training. He has to do that first. With Goku, it's more of a case of he has to do this kind of training to get ready for the next fight. With Saitama is, I've already done all the training. I've already done everything. I've already done the training. Not push-ups, not finger push-ups under 300 times Earth gravity or 100 times Earth gravity or whatever the fuck it is. Not doing that, which is something that is inhumane by most standards. You know what I mean? Like, it is still some form of strength training in a sense, but at least it's like, you know, at least it's like exaggerated to an extent where it's like, I definitely can't see a human do this. I can see, however, a human do all that strength training for a year, and there are actual videos of people saying, yo, there are actual objective examples of people saying, yo, I've done this training for a year. This is what it got me. Like, it was heavy, it was tough, and all that stuff, but, I mean, yeah. I love how when a character gets unbeatable power-up and stops the main character until he loses his power and dies. Type shit. Thought we added the mystery to the world. I thought it added mystery to the world. Saitama wanted to be a hero, became the strongest. Something like eating crabs, became a crab monster. Another became a car monster. Something's off. Yeah, something's probably off. Vegeta didn't need to train until he felt Goku was getting ahead of him. Yeah. Oh, this fucking fight. Jesus Christ. I remember complaining the fuck about this. Your wounds are healing? Well, of course. The lethal dose increases. That means I've developed an immunity. But do you really have time to act all shocked? If you don't hurry up soon, you'll not only be able to kill me, you won't be able to wound me in the slightest. Okay, too slow, too late, a fatal error. Sure. This is child's play. Even the Ryatsu so tiny I can scarcely sense it. Must I pick them out amongst the rubble and kill them one by one with this titanic form? How bothersome it is attempting to crush ants in the sand. Near impossible task, but is precisely why I will not fail. Why did you not find that being possible? Achieving the impossible is what miracles are for. My berry, blah, 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 blah. Do you really expect that attack would strike me? Can't say I did. Not on its own, that is. Chocolate bar slider, Hifuki no Kozuchi, 21 Jo, Tombo, Kudari. Sure. Blocks them all the way. Never gonna end at this rate. It's useless. Shows up. Cool. What's your favorite Stern Raider? I don't have one. I don't have a lot of things. I think the Espada are cooler. I guess maybe because I have more nostalgia for them. I don't really view any of the Stern Raiders as like all that interesting. They're sort of just a second case of like, we do this for our majesty, but unlike the Espada, they fear, but they also love and respect Yuhabaga, and whereas like with the Arankars, they kind of have no choice. We're just sort of doing this because, hey man, this is kind of all we kind of got to go for. If we don't do this for what's his face, for Ryzen, he will actually like slaughter us. I don't really have like a favorite one of these dudes. Now they've noticed the same eyes as Yuhabox. What about it? He exchanged their powers when he's sleeping. That's speaking right now. He doesn't have powers of omniscience and omnipotence. It is at the top of the ward. Well, to go there, you're going to stay there. There's no time to argue about it. I assure you the world's less lies. The future can be changed. You surprised me, Ryu Ishida. It's almost as though a different person. Look at your face, rather full of hope. It's rather surprised you couldn't see me being full of hope. See me being blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So the lethal dosage shifts, another dumb no limits fallacy adaptation ability. Yep. I have a gut feeling that death is such a long way off for me. The immunity is the ultimate ability, way to keep death at bay. Well, then I suppose I would have my immunity to thank for this. What do you think, Yoruichi Shioing? Yeah. He talks shit and then he shows up. Indeed, this is indeed a lethal wedgie. What the hell? How was she able to move? Did I disable my death dealing? No, rather blah blah blah. God of Thunder. About how long do I have? What did you inject into my ass? It's a secret. It's probably along the lines of an immunity booster shot that made it so that while you were hiding somewhere and listening to us, Richie, you figured things out so quickly. I made it quickly, so the effects won't last long. About how long do I have? I'd say 5 minutes. That's good enough for me. Shunko Raijin Senkei. Wait a minute, please. Just a minute, Yoriichi. What is it? What do you want? Let's just try something. Let's just try the, no way. Such a quick answer. At least allow me to explain and negotiate with you a little bit. I'm not going to transform into that disgusting half-ass form again. I see. That's such a shame and reluctant. Okay. Damn, it must have been bad. It's great. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm just focusing on this. What just happened? But I slammed you with a poison ball when you were 100%. No matter how much you've recovered, do you think that's kind of impossible for you to deal with that in your current stage? Once this page, you'll be transformed. Flip, ching, transforms. Cool. Okay, Shunryu Koku Byo Senkei. Shunko Raiju Senkei. That's what it's called. Don't give me that. Why are you answering the questions? Is it because she doesn't understand spoken language anymore? She attacks, blah, blah. You've got to be kidding me. It's her mood. Often people say cats are moody, right? When Yoriichi is in that form, she shows up in her Reiatsu. She's not coming after you right now because what's in her mood dictates, blah, 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 blah. It's like Reiatsu of a completely different person. Yeah. It changes 48 times per second. It attacks, and then she loses the power-up, and it didn't do a jack shit thing. Like, come fucking on, man! Every single time that you see a character do something crazy or interesting, it means fucking nothing. Dude, come on. Yeah, no. Just means nothing. It just means nothing. It just means nothing. That's a problem, man. That's why I don't like Bleach. Can you people understand that's why I don't like Bleach? Come on, man. Cool. Her Reiatsu changes 48 times per second. That is such a cool thing to do because now within 5 minutes or at least whatever, let's say 4 minutes, her ability, it's changing like what? 48 times 60 is what? Like, I don't know, man. It's whatever. Zoro using Asura on Kaido. It's hype but does nothing. It scarred him. And Kaido gave him his praise, and then Zoro later masters that power. That's the difference. Zoro later masters that power, and when he defeats the guy that he was meant to defeat, when he defeats the guy that he's actually meant to defeat, he doesn't get taken down by somebody else. He doesn't do anything like, again, use whatever logic you want to try and justify this shit, man. Use whatever you want to try and justify this bullshit, but it doesn't make it good, man. It's the most annoying. Arrogance, ignorance, or hypocrisy. All three. All of the above. They're all equally as bad, man. They're all equally as bad. Son of a bitch still alive after I crushed his heart. Yeah. And then he did it. And then when I die, Gift Ball Deluxe increases in intensity. You're begging for something. Oh, look at that. Grimmjow showed up. Did a thing. And now he no longer matters for the rest of the fucking arc, man. Come on. Okay, Kenpachi showed up. How the hell all of the captain ranks got wiped out. How fucking sad. Here comes trouble. Also was how Zoro figured out how to apply Conqueror's Haki. Yeah, that's where we also found out, like, there's at least some like narrative significance to Zoro scarring Kaido. We find out he's an actual conqueror. You know what I mean? But no, with Yoruichi, what's the narrative significance of her having a cat form that changes her moody behavior 48 times per second, bro? Does it matter at the end of the day? Not really. Bleach has a massive jobber problem. They introduce a character, then have them become way stronger just to show off how much stronger another character is in comparison, and then rinse and repeat. 100%. Yeah, and then Grimmjow killed a Stern Ritter and then immediately goes down. Not even a cool fight. No. Here's the thing. You might say like Grimmjow killed and I should give him respect for that, but no, I'm not gonna respect that because Grimmjow just went down. He put his arm through the guy's chest, pulled out his heart, crushed it, and then immediately goes down, bro. You don't even get to see Grimmjow do jack shit again, dude. So he wasn't the size to begin with. Injured areas increase in both size and strength. That's his ability. Something not you're being too sensitive. Badass. I'm dying to see what happens if I hack you into little pieces. They clash. What the hell are you doing? If I hadn't eased up, you're more capable of being careful than I thought. So how about stretching that carefulness a little bit more? What the hell are you talking about? I'm saying if this guy makes any bigger than he already is and he falls off of here, what do you mean what happens if I go down after him and I dice his ass up? Something that massive falling from this side would be enough to completely destroy the Sarate? Yeah. Stops it, sends it back, yada yada yada, does the thing, couple, topple me, how very strong, leave me no choice, is cruel. An embodiment, gulp down, Nozarashi, yeah. Clashes. This is cool, sure. This is cool. Kenpachi's having a back and forth, cool. But, like, how does Kenpachi win, right? Like, it's all cool at the end of the day, but, like, how does Kenpachi win? That's my question. How does he defeat this guy, right? Because, yeah, they might be having, like, an interesting back and forth to some, but in my mind, I'm thinking, what does it all matter if the only thing Kenpachi can do here is Unga Bunga? Oh, well, Kenpachi went down, right? And then he says, Bankai. Cool. Sick-ass art, by the way. Sick-ass art. Kenpachi becoming a red Oni. Kenpachi's Shikai becoming a smaller, decrepit version of, like, a butcher's knife. Oh, grabs his arm and rips it off by his teeth. Sick as fuck. I agree. Listen, all of this, sick as all hell. It's absolutely badass. He literally bit a giant's arm and ripped it right out. That's insane. Cuts his eye off. Cuts his head. Uppercuts him. Knocks him off the Soul Society. The guy grows wings. He vanishes. Slices him straight in fucking half. Badass. Bad as fuck. Badass. Means nothing. Means absolutely, objectively speaking, nothing. At what point do you think anime adaptations go too far? It depends on what you mean by, like, by go too far, right? Like, I think that, like, the One Piece anime adaptation, even though people think that, like, it's too colorful and too much shit is happening on the screen, I think it's, like, a proper adaptation of what should be happening in the manga, because Oda can't draw all the crazy shit that's happening, and it's very imaginative and very interesting to see, you know, all the little moments in between Luffy acting up while in Gear 5, for example, right? Kenpachi has to outlast him. That's the thing. Yeah, he has to outlast him. That's just not going to happen, and he's never going to outlast him. You cannot outlast someone who just becomes stronger every single time they get hit. You can't outlast that. But when you have, like, a case with, like, Bleach, where, like, they add a couple of extra scenes to the series, but then they also say, no, the anime canon is, the anime version is the actual canon adaptation for Kubo, then yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, listen, it's all cool and shit until it just genuinely doesn't matter. That's the issue. See, you brought up before the point about, like, Zoro scarring Kaido and it not mattering at the end, but you know why it does matter at the end? Because not only does it show that he's a conqueror, but later on, it matters when he beats the villain that he fights, the guy that cannot be damaged while the flame is on his back. But Kenpachi's just getting a power-up and it meaning nothing at the end of the day because he cannot beat the guy. He cannot beat the guy that he's fighting. There is no circumstance where Kenpachi beats the guy that he fights, that he's fighting right now. My Ashtonig is the most virtuous of God's soldiers. Yeah. And look at that. And then the other issue is that Kenpachi's Bankai is too powerful that his body can't handle it. So it boils down to an issue of, look at that. Kenpachi has the cool transformation. And look at this. Boils down to absolutely fucking nothing, man. You can't tell me that I can't be upset by this, right? You can't sit here and say, well, you know. Yeah, I mean, you can't sit there and just tell me, like, hey, man, Eon, I think you're being a little too harsh. I'm not being harsh. I'm just tired of seeing the same bullshit. How many of these have we gone through today? How many of these things have we gone through today? Wouldn't it be impactful if Gerard killed Kenpachi? I'm not saying that I want him to kill. I wonder how people react if that happened instead at the end. I don't know if I would be okay with that, but it would at least have been like, I mean, holy shit. I mean, at least he killed Kenpachi. I mean, at least it would have been great for, like, the raw suspense of it. I don't know. That's different, though. I swear you don't see every day someone get overwhelmed by their own power-up and losing. No, and that's fine. I'm fine with Kenpachi losing because his power... Here's the thing. Wait, let me ask you... Actually, no, let's go back to this. Let's go back to this for a second, right? What if for a second, instead of Kenpachi's Bankai being an Unga Bunga power-up, what if instead, for just a second, Kenpachi's Bankai, instead of just being an Unga Bunga power-up, was some kind of eldritch ability where, in addition to gaining this red skin, the Butcher's Knife, like many other Bankais, it's not just the stat amp, he gets some strange, crazy power, like all of the fucking villains seem to fucking have some crazy hacks ability. What if Kenpachi got an ability that, just like his Oni form, increasing his power and just making him some rampant beast, he also gets the ability to deal permanent damage, right? Like what we're doing right now with hockey, right? Where
where in the current point in One Piece, there are characters who have literal immortality, which is basically just this, barring the gets more powerful after taking damage. What if Kenpachi, since his whole theme is, I can cut the thing up, I will slice and dice this thing up. What if his Bankai also allowed him to deal permanent damage regardless of anything else? What if Kenpachi still loses the fight? I don't care if he loses the fight, but now Gerard is missing an arm, a leg, and only has his shield arm to stand up and half of his fucking head. What then? I don't care at that point if Kenpachi loses, because what if Kenpachi just beats him? How about that? What if Kenpachi just beats him? Or what if it ends up in a double knockout because Kenpachi was so fucking powerful he couldn't deal any more damage and both him and Gerard fall down? And the rest of the captains can just finish him off. I think that is better than this. I think that is better than Gerard just becoming more powerful. Toshiro Hitsugaya getting his cool-ass Bankai full-grown form, which I cannot understand why he's never pulled this out before. Oh, I just don't like the way I look as an adult. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid choice right here. You're really telling me that the reason you've never done this crazy-ass form before, this cool-ass transformation, because you're not fond of this look? Fuck you. Fuck you, Toshiro Hitsugaya. Oh, cool. He's frozen. And also, I don't know where the light speed scaling it really comes into when he can freeze anything in 4 seconds, bro. Where's it in 4 seconds? It releases over inside of 4 paces. I don't know, man. I guess Kubo ran out of ideas to make an interesting dynamic. That's all good and all, but I don't think Gerard losing his limbs because of Kenpachi or someone else taking Kenpachi's win is a little disrespectful. I don't think it's a little disrespectful. Who gives a shit, bro? Bro, the whole fucking fight, bro, every single fight that we've seen so far, it's somebody else taking the win. What makes that different at this point? What makes that different? Because, let's be honest here. Okay, if it doesn't debunk it, I don't know, man. But anyway, what makes it different at that point? Because Yoruichi wasn't the one to defeat the previous guy. No, it was Grimjow and Urahara. What's his face? Fuck. It wasn't Captain Shunsui Kurako who defeated the X-Axis guy. It was fucking what's-her-face that has never combated before. Don't tell me that it's disrespectful. Don't give me some bullshit excuse like, don't you think it's a little disrespectful to Kenpachi? I don't give a shit if it's disrespectful to Kenpachi. At least he took down the guy. At least his Bankai, even if it's too powerful for him, would have been a perfect counter to this big-ass dude. And look at him. He just comes back. They defeated him. Oh, look, he just comes back. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. I would say that Kubo gave an explanation to Q&A as for Toshiro's issue, but I'm a Toshiro head, so I pretend he didn't. What was the issue? What was the thing? Great word to describe many of the things. It's anticlimactic. It's so fucking anticlimactic. Yeah, it's anticlimactic. The freezing is just casual for Aokiji. Yeah, no. The freezing is just casual for Aokiji. I wouldn't even... You know what? I'm at the point where I would just fucking say, yeah, Aokiji could probably do this. It's equivalent of Goku revealing Super Saiyan Blue and immediately getting bodied. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's actually because he thought of his ice petals melting would end his Bankai, but he only learned his adult form recently and he decided he didn't like the way it looked. Sure, I guess. Sure. Even though... Actually, I got you right now. Wait, no, I'm thinking... Shit, my bad. What fucking chapter was it? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 segundo. What is it, like 114? Way farther up. What am I doing? It's like, what, 2 something? 200? Okay. I'm gonna move up like 4 chapters from here. It's 3 chapters. Jesus, we're still on this crap? Okay. Let me see the chapter with what's his face, the flowers yet. Unless I miss my guess, the flower behind you represents the amount of energy. Am I wrong? You're young, you're probably Bankai, and then your Bankai will disappear. 12 petals, 3 down. I could easily support things. Snip, snip. A Rankar, okay.
You really are a captain. Humph. You should call yourself an Arankar the 11th. You're the 11th strongest Arankar. The number indicates not the order of strength. It only goes above 10. Okay, sure. Gente Kaijo. Gente Kaijo. It's over, Shaolong. Ryu Senkai. I remember Toshiro saying something about, like, you misunderstand what the pedals are for or some shit like that. I could be wrong, though. Whatever. All that I have. I should probably just actually read it. Rankar, Captain, Hollows, Rankars, among those. Yeah. Oh, well. Ah, shit. I am... whatever. Anyway, most of the power-ups 1,000 Year Bro just contrived and rushed with no foreshadowing for the sake of being more powerful. Basically, he said Toshiro's body wouldn't be able to handle it earlier in the series. Cool, I guess, sure. Gerard's weakness. What's his weakness in the Q&A? What's the weakness in the Q&A? Seriously, doesn't matter if Ippachi doesn't win the war. He doesn't get killed by the fighter themselves when it's a stalemate. It's sad a lot of the later feats and abilities have to be contextualized by Kubo's internet statements instead of in the story itself. Yeah, that's a problem for me. No, that's the guy's assumption. But that's the guy's assumption. It's not what Toshiro Hitsugai even remotely implies. It would appear that Bankai takes quite a toll on your body, but you're holding up better than expected. You're pretty sharp. I'm practically at my limit. Yeah. Gerard's core is destroyed. Apparently, he'll die. Well, there's nothing that implies that. There's nothing that implies that. So why do I care at the end of the day? Resurrection F was so ass. I agree. But what do you expect from Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball doesn't have, like, great stories anyway. Alright, let's talk about Ichigo versus Yubaka. You're not my father. You're the man who killed one of my parents. You speak of your mother. Surely you are more of a man than that, Ichigo. Getsuga Tenshou does nothing. I gotta find that, like, that squeaky toy sound effect. Destroying the pendant is Gerard's weakness. Where's the core? Where's the pendant? Where was that even... what pendant? What core? Where was that shown? Is the heart of the Soul King, so just assume you destroy his heart and he dies? He got... Boys. 1 second. Let's go back. What do you call this? What do you call this? What do you mean destroy his heart and he dies? What are you talking about? He's shattered into... I don't even know how to explain it. It's in one panel. Where is it stated? Far enough. It does not matter. Is this your banka? You've engaged. Oh yeah. Throwing huge ass. How foolish you've forgotten. How frozen all forms cease to functions. So your hope is worthless now. Yeah. Quincy, Bo. Yeah. Decisions. It's all in the Library of Hara. I'll agree. It's nonsense. It releases Daiguren hearing Maru. Blah, 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 blah. I will crush you with my own hands. I cannot be fettered. I will not be crushed by my own hand. Zaraki, my foot. How dare you? Do you really think you can touch me and not pay it in some way? I told you, Shinigami, I will not freeze. Senkei, Senbon Takara, Kagayoshi, Ultimate Technique, Ika Senjika. It blasts his head off. Where is it stated? It's not stating in the story. It's stated in a Q&A core. The core is shown once within the story in a brief panel. Story in a brief panel. Where the fuck is it ever shown? I just skimmed through all of these. Okay. Kenpachi shows up. Where the fuck is the core, man? Just check the Library of Ohara. It's there. I have everything there. Sure, I'll check it out later. I don't care to do that right now. We're like right here, right? Getsuga Tenshou. Okay, we already got all of these because she died. She died because it was her time. She lived her purpose. Yeah, that's silly. So, an image in one panel of a chapter gives zero context until the Q&A explains it. How long ago did the Q&A happen? Like, what year did that Q&A come out?
What year did the Bleach Q&A come out? Because if it's not even within the same fucking year that Bleach ended, bro, I'm gonna fucking crash out. Kubo realizing he didn't add specific things to a story to make things make sense, and then having to cover in a Q&A. Fuck the Q&A. I don't give a shit. Fuck the Q&A at that point. I'm going to consider everything without the Q&A because I'm taking it within the context of the story. If I have to literally, it started 3 years, I'm going to fucking crash out, dude. Are you seriously fucking telling me? Wait, are we seriously sitting here and telling me Yukabaka is a villain? He's Nazi Jesus. Cool, I guess. He has a god complex. He wants to rewrite the world and all that crap. I don't care, man. He's just a grander than life villain who I have no opinion about. He has a funny looking mustache and he has an overpowered ability, and they beat him because of plot armor. Was rushed though. That's the thing. I don't care if he was rushed. I don't care about rushing. You know what else was rushed? JJK, and I can at least justify JJK's ending, bruh. I can at least justify JJK's ending because whether or not people find it as like the best perfect ending possible, at least the shit in JJK makes sense. Are you telling me that I have to go back and read a fucking article in Q&A just to explain the dog shit crap that the author forgot to add to the story? I don't care about it being rushed. I'm judging the product based on what it is. I'm judging the product based on what I got. I can sympathize with Kubo and say, yes, there were things about it that were rushed. And you know what? That might not have been fair to him. Maybe he didn't get a chance to do it, but I'm still judging the story based on what I got. And if you tell me he couldn't add a single panel that said, if we don't destroy his core, he's never going to go down. Mind you, that was a single sentence. If we don't destroy his core, he's never going to go down. You're going to really sit there and tell me that oh, he was rushed, he couldn't do that? Man, fuck that. Kubo had 6 years to figure out why the fuck the shit in his story didn't make sense, and he came up with, oh, there's a core inside. Nah, fuck all that, dude. I don't care, dude. I'm not counting any of that shit. I'm gonna have to find the that Chew Toy sound effect. I'm gonna have to find that Chew Toy sound effect, so every time I talk about Getsuga Tenshou, or every time I show one of its attacks, it's just gonna be the Chew Toy effect, man. I'm really at that point. Only managed to grab the edge of clumsy, but still you stopped for me. When you looked back at me, those weren't the eyes of someone fighting recklessly. I thought you must be doing this for some kind of a reason. There was someone I wanted to make to wake up by drenching them in Quincy Reiatsu. His blade is turning white. Yeah. The enemy's gonna fix things, so it'll be good and fine, though. For Bleach fans' sake, I hope so, man. I hope fucking so, because this shit is ass. This shit is fucking ass, man. Crazy that I have to wait until an anime gets an adaptation and then for the author of the series to say, yeah, no, the anime is the correct adaptation of this. God fucking damn it, I did it again. Just for the anime, just for me to sit here and be like, okay, yeah, took them what, 9, almost 10 years to make the series not ass. Or to make shit make sense. Fantastic. After the series ended, mind you. Okay, move this here. Cool. Let's not make that mistake again. Jesus Christ. Got a squeaky sound effect for you in Discord. Appreciate it. Don't worry, Noah. I'm still myself. Oh, he looks so happy. Look at him trying to smile at her. Look at him trying to reassure her. So happy. So happy. Look at this handsome young man. Yeah. So I've had better endings while rushed. Pistol does actually deal damage consistently. And the enemy's kind of half good, half bad at some pacing parts when things feel cut off in the narrative. Probably. Two figures who were always opposed within me in a deadly balance were reforged as Zangetsu in the form of these two blades. Yeah. So I used your power to trigger it. But I haven't got used to using them yet like this. So I used your power as a trigger, Kurosaki. When did you... See, this is the most big brain thing I've seen Ichigo do up until now. To be honest, since they're fused with my powers, I could have liked to bring them out whenever I like. Yeah.
This is going to cover a lot of ground, and I'm going to keep blocking my Reiatsu with your Rika. I need you to keep blocking and fall back a little bit. Right. Ching! Cool. Such wondrous powers. Very well. Chu will draw my sword. Yeah. What the fuck does Ichigo's Bankai do? We still don't know, man. What was Kaijo number 8's ending like? Oh, no, I'll just say JJK so inconsistent in the end half. Toto with the instrument in the Bookie Wookie is an ass pool. Poor explained. It's not how is it poor explained when it's just a binding vow? Imagine complaining about something that is easily explained by the fact that by creating a specific vow with yourself and with an item in order to simply change the conditions by which something works, and you're saying it's poorly explained. It's not poorly explained, my dude. You have seen binding vows throughout the whole series. That's the whole reason why binding vows exist, so that the author can find different ways to use some of the characters' abilities and to warp them around in specific situations. That's not bad writing. That's not poorly explained. Sukuna was glazed for no reason. Gojo dying was horrible. Sukuna being glazed for no reason is objectively incorrect. I don't know what you refer to as being glazed for no reason, and you don't know what you mean by Gojo dying was horrible. That's just an opinion. And that's an opinion you have every right to have, but guess what? Means nothing in the grand scheme of things, because Gojo dying meant that we got one of the greatest gauntlet battles I've ever seen in Shonen. I've never seen a gauntlet battle like that, actually. I can't even think of a gauntlet battle that went as well as Sukuna, not only systematically being jumped by every able-bodied good guy and even some villains in the verse just to take down one guy, sporadically lowering his health bar like a raid boss. Yeah, Gojo dying was bad because... Gojo dying was bad, right? No, I don't believe it. Whoa, a Gran Rey Zero Getsuga Tenshou. This is not a Getsuga Tenshou. This is a Getsuga Tenshou mixed into a Gran Rey Zero. I promise you, Ichigo. I promise you, buddy. A fusion of a Getsuga Tenshou. This is power fitting of one such as yourself. One born as a fusion of all things. But, as I said, it is feeble. Look at that. I swear, Ichigo, if you just used the Gran Rey Zero, I promise you it would have worked. You're quite right, and the opportunity ends here. Your power is great, so I can let down my guard no longer. Cool. End of series, One Piece. The Emu Gauntlet will be epic. I hope so. Dying was awesome because Gojo's a terrible character and a bum and deserved to die. I mean, again, allowed to have that opinion. I disagree with that wholeheartedly as well, but shit, man. Did you think you were the only one able to wield 2 blades? Oh, cool, but what does his blade do? Nothing, right? Careful, do not be hasty. There is a trap in your path. Ching! What the fuck? I joined late. Why is he so mad? I'm just tired, dude. I'm just complaining about Bleach again. Just trying to figure out if Getsuga Tenshou is a good move. I don't think so. I would disagree. To expand on the Gojo dying shows the lack of writing. It makes things worse because it dragged out with a useless fight that amounted to nothing. Nobara coming back? Come on. You're allowed to think all those things are bad. That doesn't mean they're bad. What shows the lack of writing? What do you mean it shows the lack of writing? You keep making claims, but you're not actually explaining why there's a lack of writing. Gojo is someone who is consistently too cocky and he never learns from his mistakes. Sukuna took that into his advantage because Gojo lowered his guard and he got one shot by it because Sukuna made a binding vow to use a brand new attack that he had systematically used the other curse technique that he had stolen in the 10 Shadows in order to generate and form. And then in every single other time Sukuna used said attack, he had to essentially put his hands together, use a specific set of words, otherwise the attack would never come out again. What's so bad about that? He dragged it out. What do you mean he dragged it out with useless fight scenes? What do you mean useless fight scenes? Can you please elaborate? Because you keep saying things, you keep making claims, but you're not actually going out of your way to explain. What useless fight scenes? What was dragged out? Nobara coming back? Why couldn't Nobara come back? It was foreshadowed. He said... Don't you remember the chapter? They said, she's not dead. I stopped the damage. I cannot promise we can save her. She ended up coming back because it was saved. You know what that is?
An interesting little plot twist. A foreshadowed plot. Forget the interesting. That is a foreshadowed plot twist. You just simply did not like the foreshadowed plot twist. But guess what? I did. So I don't know what to tell you. Because again, those things are subjective. Whether or not you like it or not, those things are subjective. But to say that it's bad writing, why is it bad writing? I need actual reasonings here. Because if the reasoning is I just didn't like it, that's fine, man. That's fine. But that doesn't justify any of your claims. Zero is too cool for Ichigo to use because he wasn't Leroy Jenkins at the Soul Society. Yobak defeated with this supposed power to see all futures and interact with them will always be funny, show the limit of his abilities that on paper are great, but in action or feat are limited. Gojo got exactly what he wanted from his death. He went all out against a worthy opponent and fostered a strong new generation of sorcerers. Yeah. I don't see how Gojo lost in any of that. And he also was wrong about saying that when people die, you die alone, because he was around all of the people that he loved and that had already died. Nanami, the girl that they were trying to do, that they were trying to like keep protected in the fucking flashback. Geto, he finally got a chance to actually reconcile things with Geto in the afterlife, dude. Like, come on now. So explain what's the point of reading one person comes. What's the point of reading one person comes, Sukuna kills him, another person comes, Sukuna kills him, rinse and repeats, boring. I'll admit he stopped doing that, but it was a little too late. So you don't like gauntlet fights. It's not bad that you just don't like gauntlet fights. And yet, it's still the best and most consistent. It doesn't really have well-executed foreshadowing. What do you mean Megumi made it seem like Nobara was dead? When did Megumi make it seem? Can you give me, again, you're saying, when did Megumi say Nobara is dead? Fight ability or whatever, interesting 10%, everything else. Yeah. What do you mean Megumi made it seem like Nobara was dead? Because Yuji was the one who found Nobara lying there in a fucking ditch. Not like dying there in a ditch. He's the one who saw Nobara die. Also, give me one example of a gauntlet fight that you think is pretty good. Because what you've described is just you don't like gauntlet fights. And Sukuna, here's the thing. That's fine. You don't have to like gauntlet battles. But guess what? That's interesting to me. Because unlike this fucker, give me 1 second. Naruto. Unlike this fucker, Sukuna got taken down with no bullshit, no excuses, nothing. They went in, plan after plan after plan. He took every single one of their plans, and the only thing he couldn't foresee was a person who he believed was dead, or he couldn't even care enough about to consider alive or dead, ended up taking him out before he used the domain expansion, and the guy that he had shoved deep down within himself so he couldn't come back, ended up being woken up and helped out at the end. Honest to God, would have preferred JJK to be a bad end over the shit we got. The shit we got was fine. I don't understand what the issue with it is. There are a lot of criticisms, like Six says. I agree there are a lot of criticisms you can easily have. Did you remember the chapter where Yuji asked Megumi if she made it? Yeah, nobody was supposed to know whether or not she was alive. How is that bad? Especially when, again, I can just show you the chapter. Wait, where is it? Again, it's supposed to remove your suspension of belief. You're supposed to think, well, maybe Nobara is dead. But again, they also said, I can't make any promises, she might be dead. No promises, but she might be dead. Sorry, no promises, but I can't say that she will live. No, it's not this. I just applied my curse technique onto you. The wounds have injured, healed up in the others. Okay. I've done the same for the other girl. She has no pulse and isn't breathing, but not much time has passed since she received those injuries. Let's just say it's not a 0% chance. That's foreshadowing right there, my guy. That's foreshadowing right there. It's not a 0% chance, okay? Please don't get your hopes up. They're basically saying, I can't promise that she'll be back, but she can still come back. It was destined to be dog shit. Changed my mind. I mean, you can believe that. I think it was a fine ending. Especially for how he rushed it, I think it was a fine ending. I'm satisfied with how Sukuna went out. I'm satisfied. JJK could have done better, but seemed more lackluster than horrible from that. It's just people had their hopes way too high for I don't know what the fuck they expected from it. I think you know what I think the issue is? I think people wanted to see the fucking merger. People wanted to see the merger, but the problem is if the merger fucking happens, that means Sukuna won. I think people just wanted to see Sukuna win because they thought Sukuna was gonna win at the end. And I just want to say that just goes to show how crazy Sukuna had to be as a fucking character for people to sit there for months, because I lived through it. I was there. I read the comments on social media, on Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, all that crap. I saw all of it, and I saw people consistently say, yo, Sukuna's actually gonna fucking win this shit. And also, guys, remember what I said before about getting power-ups and ultimately it meaning nothing? There we go. Fuck Kubo, man. Can we get a move on back on Beach, please? Yeah, I got you. I'm talking about a different chapter. Okay, and yeah, and Megumi's not gonna know whether or not Nobara's back. Megumi's not the voice that's supposed to tell you whether or not Nobara is gonna come back. I loved gauntlet fights. Gerard, you like Gerard, who lost not because he was defeated properly, but because the villain took his powers back? Yeah, alright. I mean, that's fine. Sure. Karakuritan with Aizen was so ass, they didn't do anything. That wasn't a gauntlet. He literally just took them all down. That wasn't a fucking gauntlet. That wasn't interesting. A domain expansion out of nowhere because he spent a month learning barrier techniques, my guy. At least bother understanding the entire flashbacks and training that they went into. I don't care about getting easily rage baited, my guy. I'm at the point where, like, I just don't care anymore, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. Between my mood lately and all this shit and just this burnout, I'm like, and now me having to look through this crap for Bleach again just to make a video about how dog shit the fact that series is, man. Some of the decisions that Kubo made, but oh, it's all right because Kubo made a decision to put a Q&A 6 years after the series came out, and now it's all automatically fine. Now it all makes sense. I don't know, man. Kubo being a troll like usual. Yeah, mine allows me to influence a multitude of futures that I can see with mine. Ichigo, is it true that you have faced despair in conquering it by changing the future many times in the past? Do you know why you've accomplished it? It is because I was not there. Yeah. Challenges for the most part. That's not interesting. Like, I guess what you... I guess I think this is the problem, right? Sukuna's gauntlet is an example of a character slowly being whittled down like a raid boss by plan after plan, by careful execution. It might not have all have gone as swimmingly as they have wanted, but they still got there at the end of the day. Aizen's jump was just Aizen essentially flexing, because I assume that for you at least, you like seeing the characters flex and be strong, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm tired of seeing that shit in shonen. I'm tired of seeing a character just be so strong that nobody can stand up to them. I want to see weaker characters. I want to see there being a chance. You know what? I'll even give you an example right now. Sorry. Let me just go into this. Magna beats Dante. You know what is satisfying? A character that I had no respect for, someone who I didn't even remotely ever look at twice, because I assumed at the time, back in 2014, 2015, 2016, whenever fucking Black Clover came out, I assumed that this goober right here was going to be another jobber that's going to be easily surpassed within the next couple of arcs. And you know what he did? He came back and told me, shut the fuck up, dude, I got this. This right here is badass. When you see other characters, weaker characters that aren't the main protagonist, that aren't in the top 5 strongest of the verse, that aren't some captain level class motherfucker, when you see these guys come in out of nowhere and say, yo, I got this. Here is the plan. Here is the strategy. I have been cooking in the background and for me to do something. And that is the entirety of the Shinjuku Showdown. Everyone expected, or at least hoped, that Gojo would have it. Everyone had their hopes up on Gojo, but they also trained non-stop for a month. They cheated, as Yuta said, they did everything that they could to take down the strongest force in the verse, man. That to me is cool. What's his face Aizen just, oh, I'm so strong, my Reiatsu's so great, I am the most powerful being here, I made sure to take down the only guy here that could beat me, and now all of you are fodder. Oh, and let me just aura farm you guys. Oh yeah, that oh, cool. Anime villain doing the thing for the 15th fucking time. Cool.
JJK from Volume 0 before the Shibuya incident was a solid 7 out of 10. Shibuya was an 8 out of 10. The Kunlun games were a 6 out of 10. Gojo Sukuna, up until now, he won was a 0. Everything after that was a 2. Right after, up until how he won. I mean, you cannot like the way he won. I think the Shinjuku Showdown, especially after Gojo, was fantastic. Every single week I kept thinking to myself, what else could they possibly fucking do to take down Sukuna? What else? What else could they do to take down Sukuna? And they just kept coming in. If somebody was, even Miguel, even Miguel saying, yo, I am not fighting this guy if he has a domain active, and I am not fighting him if he has his curse technique active, dude. You guys are gonna have to put in fucking work to take this guy down. They were like, we're gonna be jumping after Gojo. I'm still not doing it, bro. You have to seriously sit there and tell me, hey, man, you have to seriously sit there and expect me to fight this guy while he has a domain active? No, fuck no. And you know what they did? They got rid of the domain, and then they jumped in, and then Yuji fucking awakens. I don't know, man. And it makes sense. Someone needs to be smart with their magic and grit without it being spoiled bum with large magic and devil's powers being wasteful with it, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. Bleach Fancy the chapter, Cry the meta, universal life. Yeah, I don't know, man. So Kishima, also a guy that went in, that has the powers to stab things and then go into the past, and then your blade was never broken. Oh, look, his blade was never broken. Yuhabaha affects the past. Aizen affects the present. Tsukishima affects the future. I don't know, man. I'll list it for you. Yuta did at least something to Sukuna. Maki did nothing. No, Maki did not do nothing. As a matter of fact, I will prove you wrong right now. Let's go into this. Yuta did something. What did he do? He hit Sukuna with a domain expansion, landed cleave on his face, took out one of his arms, ripped out his tongue, and also... Wait, 1 second. Let me finish this real quick. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Give me a second. That'll be the last thing I talk about on stream, because I do have to cook and I do have to go take out the trash. I don't even know why I'm bringing... I don't even know why I'm still downloading this crap. It's... what's the point of fixing it if it fucking breaks, dude? I get it. I know. It's fucking Aizen, man. It's Aizen. Yeah. 1 second. Let me just pull out JJK real quick. JJK. No, we'll go through the Shinjuku Showdown arc. We'll go through Shinjuku Showdown. Aizen trapped 4 captains and let the Espadas weaken him. Yeah, and yet the gauntlet that he still went through was boring as all fucking hell. What was interesting about the gauntlet he went through? They all just jumped him and it didn't afford for anything. Again, character is strong, does the strong thing. Oh, cool. Getsuga Tenshou did not do a single thing. Did not do a single thing. When you realize Aizen survived a hole in the chest, but Sukuna got killed by a black flash to the stomach. Yeah, if you want to be disingenuous. If you want to be disingenuous, sure. Be disingenuous, sure. Right. Yeah, and Aizen, yeah, when you realize that Aizen got taken down by a sword slash that didn't actually beat him. When you realize that Aizen got taken down by a magical spell he didn't see coming. And Sukuna got jumped by a vast majority of the verse. Sure. Cool. Alright, I think that's everything. I don't care about anything else here. Everything else about Bleach, the path, yeah. Okay. Shinjuku Showdown. Let's talk about it. You want to bring up characters that did absolutely nothing, coming at despite how much I like her was straight Disney shit. How is it straight Disney shit? How is it Disney shit? They had context behind them? Ah, so there's context, right? So when I say, right. So when I say, oh, there's context behind Sukuna, besides Sukuna losing to a punch to the stomach, but it's just a punch to the stomach. But when I say that,
when you say that Sukuna dies to a punch to the stomach, oh, that's a problem, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no context there. But when, oh, what's his face dies to a keto that was just thrown in randomly out of nowhere, oh yeah, no, that's completely justifiable, right? Anyway, let's talk about this real quick, right? Let's talk about this real quick. Sukuna gets hit with a domain expansion, right? Let's talk about Sukuna's toolkit right from the start, right? Let's talk about Sukuna's toolkit right from the fucking start, actually. Here's what we're gonna do. Right from the start, Sukuna has the 10 Shadows, domain expansion, the 10 Shadows and domain expansion, right? Walking away from his fight with Gojo, he got brain damage, lost the 10 Shadows, lost Mahoraga, and lost his domain expansion for a brief period of time. Against Kashimo, he got what the fuck is this weapon called again? I forgot what this weapon is called. The Supreme Martial Solution. I forgot what it was called. The Supreme Martial Solution. You got the Supreme Martial Solution, which literally lands lightning bolts on the opponents. A torrent of lightning on the opponents. Right? Okay. Fights Higuruma. Higuruma hits him with a domain expansion. He loses and confiscates his Supreme Martial Solution. So now Sukuna only has his Curse Technique, RCT, working for him, right? He's already lost Domain Expansion, 10 Shadows. As a matter of fact, we'll write it right now. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fucking write all of this. What did Sukuna lose per fight? We're gonna go through this real quick. Gojo. Domain Expansion. 10 Shadows. Weakened RCT. Kashimo. What does he lose against Kashimo? Kashimo forces him to use his one-time free heal transformation. Kashimo forced him to use his one-time free heal transformation. Higuruma makes him lose the Supreme Martial Solution Curse Tool. Supreme Martial Solution Curse Tool. Let's keep going. What's next? Also, mind you, Yuji is lowering the output. Yuji starts to lower output and synergy with body. Per hit. Let me turn that red so you guys can understand the significance of that. Let's keep going. Let's talk about this. No, like I'm actually doing this right now. Fuck it. I don't have to eat. All right, I'm not gonna read your comments. I don't give a fuck about what you guys have to say right now. Let's go through this because I feel like there's some real misconceptions here about how crazy this fucking battle was. Takes Yuji out of the fight for a second. Actually just takes Yuji out for a second by literally ripping out and cleaving through his skin, through his midsection. Yuji can't fight right now. Fucks around and has fun with Higuruma for a bit. Literally lets him stab his hand off just because he can fucking do it, because he finds Higuruma interesting. And Sukuna realizes Yuji has required reverse curse technique. Yuta shows up. Next up. Hits him with a domain expansion. Uses hollow wicker basket. Uses thin icebreaker. Sukuna starting to take damage. What does he say right here? Thanks to Megumi Fushiguro's soul, I know that I possess the brat's curse I know the possessed brat's curse technique. You can argue with Higuruma, Sukuna didn't really need it anymore. With Higuruma, Sukuna didn't need it anymore? Are we acting? Reading this stretch of chapters when they came out, I was depressed for 3 months with how bad. Are we really sitting here and saying, okay, but we're saying that he didn't do anything though? He literally took away the cursed tool. You're saying that a tool that literally allows Sukuna to just swing his arm and throw lightning bolts on the ground regardless of his own cursed technique, whether he's on burnout or not, you're saying that, oh, he doesn't really need any more? Bullshit. That is so disingenuous. I could tell you at least 3 different cases, or at least 2 different cases where Sukuna could have used the Supreme Martial Solution if Higuruma didn't take it away from him. The way that they want to keep half of my arms and mouths busy by making me use my hollow wicker basket so that Sukuna cannot use the same attack that he used against Gojo. The same attack that killed Gojo, the WCS, the World Cutting Slash. Yeah, they're trying to stop him from using it. They are limiting his options. As far as countering the can't miss attacks, probably the Angel's Curse techniques, He's basically saying, then the boy will deliver blows to capture my soul and tear Megumi Fushiguro's body from my body. He is saying everyone has a role. Everyone here is here to do something to me. Okay, let's keep going. Yuta uses all of the attacks, uses all of his copied curse techniques. He's fighting 3 characters at this time. Yuta, Rika, and Yuji. Curse technique, he's creating a way for Sukuna to not be able to move that much. He's using Thin Icebreaker to be able to send his way somewhere, to basically make him, remove his presence from Sukuna so we can't see him coming. Thanks to my fight against the Toru Gojo, I still can't use my domain expansion, and the effects of my reverse curse technique are weakened. My overall amount of cursed energy is about the same as a possessed brat, and Yuta said Sukuna has twice as much. So not only did Gojo waste Sukuna's domain expansion, he wasted about half of his CT. Cursed energy. He wasted about half of his cursed energy up until this point. They keep throwing at Sukuna. There's another problem. There's applying the same principle that allowed the boys' attacks to have an effect on the patch face curse. They are targeting the boundary between my soul and Megumi Fushiguro's soul in an attempt to awaken Fushiguro's soul, which is submerged by the bath, and to disrupt the attunement of our physical forms. They are weakening him physically. They are slowing him down. They are limiting his movements. They are keeping half of his hands fucking busy so he can't use the world cutting slash. How many times do I have to repeat myself, guys? They're using all the tricks in the fucking bag. They are literally throwing everything, including the kitchen fucking sink, my guy. Still attacking them, still taking out Rika, and he's just dealing with all of them. He's literally saying, I have to be able to land cleave in order to kill these kids in one blow. My cursed energy output isn't just low because of fighting Gojo. It's also low. It's also because their defenses are high. They got stronger in order to fight Sukuna. Then there's the boys' reverse curse technique and this domain expansion. This can't miss effect that it's only focused on me. Was he always able to do that? That's a high level barrier technique. What did you guys do in the past month? Look at him smiling as he's thinking, yo, they're not just half-assing this thing. They are literally doing back to back fucking plan after plan after plan. They are attacking all of my weak points. They are lowering all of my options. They're acting better than they did a month ago when I last saw these fuckers. Aizen didn't do any of that shit. Madara didn't do any of that shit. This is the reason why I say he has a higher battle IQ than all of the fucking rejects from Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Sukuna is unironically smarter than all of these fuckers just by this dialogue text box alone. And here's what they're saying. If it weren't for the fight against Gojo Sensei, Sukuna would have healed and wiped us out in an instant. I hate to admit it, but we're fighting against the strongest sorcerer in history. If we don't settle this right now in the domain, I'm afraid of what'll happen next, and good to be afraid. Hold on, Sukuna's kind of recovering from no RCT, but some recovery. Yes, I said it before. My weakened RCT. I wrote it here. Weakened RCT. Stop trying to make some point about like whatever. It's not relevant. Even fucking Yuta is using precognition in order to fight this guy. And look at him taking a simple bullet point. Jacob's Ladder. Curse technique treating space as a surface. Curse technique placing an invulnerable barrier on the Shikigami's trajectory. Curse speech. Precognition. Limitless technique? No, the 6 eyes are necessary in order to control that. So on and so forth. Even Sukuna leaves an opening when encountering a curse technique for the first time. So that should do even more. And then he uses cleave on his fucking face, dude. How much shit? Tell me right now if even half of that thought process was put into fighting any of these guys. Yeah, I agree. JJK's final battle with Sukuna is far better in intelligence, effort, strain, dynamics, and stakes than Bleach, Naruto, and Black Clover did. That's what I'm saying, bro. This is a gauntlet. They are not just going in here half-assed in hopes of beating this guy. They studied the playbook. They know what he can do. They took down notes as to what all of his abilities are, and they're here saying, bro, if it weren't for Gojo, we would be dead right now. Look at him, taking the hits, fucking grabbing his face, and what does Sukuna do? Rips his body through pieces. No. I'm sorry, Six. There's no way I'm gonna. Listen, I've read Black Clover. I read it still monthly. There's no way I'm gonna consider that like any of the characters even remotely have this level of battle intellect. At least to this extent, where they're keeping track of every little point back to back to back to back. I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't seen a gauntlet like this even in Black Clover. But you know, we can agree to disagree. This is our last chance to defeat Sukuna and get back to Fushiguro. Don't stop. Keep healing. Keep healing. His cursed energy output and physical control have plummeted. Look at this. They keep hitting him. They're breaking the hollow wicker basket. So it's still going though. We're still going, though, legs play devil's advocate. This is the strongest sorcerer. These attacks amount to so little right here. Oh, that is such bullshit. Just because he's the strongest sorcerer in history doesn't mean that Sukuna even remotely can't be damaged or hurt by them. I feel like this is the issue. And I feel like this is the issue that has been propagated by Bleach, Naruto, and fucking even One Piece at times. We see villains that are so fucking overpowered and so powerful that we can't expect any character to do anything to them, so we're just somehow fucking conditioned into believing that if any character does anything against these guys, it's absolute bullshit. No, fuck that. No, why does it have to be that way? It's not bullshit, and I'm not gonna play some devil's advocates for some flawed logic like that, bro. I'm not playing devil's advocate for that shit. He says, Dismantle has a broad strike zone, so he couldn't use it with hollow wicker basket. And what does he keep doing? They rip off half of his face. They're sending slashes out. They're going in. They're erupting blood. They're popping his face. They're even saying, yo, in the flashbacks, yo, two souls should never be fully combined. And what we need to do right here is hit Sukuna with Jacob's ladder in order to blast out the cursed tool from his body. This shit isn't ass. This shit isn't worse than what's his face, Aizen, just simply walking by all of the other captains and all the fodder ass Shinigami that are the lieutenants, because the lieutenants are fodder, objectively speaking. No, he's actually being tested, and they're actually going in there thinking, yo, we really did get only one chance. It's that many people believe ruthless characters are naturally less intelligent. I believe their characters are higher battle IQ. To be fair, I can admit JJ just has more impressive strategy. I don't know what you mean by higher battle IQ. What character in JJK has higher battle IQ? Because I have read the series, I have watched the episodes, I have not seen a character even remotely go into this much detail as Sukuna has. Now, I'm the opposition of a gauntlet. I think Sukuna had thick plot armor in some of these interactions. What interactions? What interactions did he have plot armor in? Because Yuji tried to wake up Fushiguro, and as before, and remember, before, why did Fushiguro not want to come back? Because Sukuna used his body and curse technique in order to kill his sister. They're even lucky Gojo was chipping this guy down bit by bit. He would have one-shot everybody if he would have been that way. Sukuna is weakened. That's the fucking point! You're arguing nothing! Sukuna, you're making no point here. You are not making a point. You're not, every single one of your comments so far is not making any actual leeway for your argument. You are just saying the shit that I've been saying. The only reason they're even in this position is because Gojo got them to this point in the first place. Let's keep going. Takes out Yuta. Yuta got taken out. And again, what did Yuta do? Ripped out. Yuta starts lowering output and energy and synergy with the body. No, Yuta. My bad. Right here. Let's talk about Yuta. Lands a maximum output Jacob's ladder. Rips out second tongue and hand, so no world cutting slash. Just remove the world cutting slash from his arsenal. And what does Maki do? Stabs him in the chest. And it even says right here, it was a conventional move for a sorcerer that Sukuna should have been able to avoid. They're even saying under any other circumstances, Sukuna would have avoided this shit, man. Maki stabs him in the chest, and let's move on to the next chapter. Again, part of their plan. She was supposed to go in with them, but she didn't. Damn that possessed brat. The burst of domain was on purpose, probably to signal his allies. They explain right here what he's going through. The wound is healing slowly, and what happens right here? Maki, what does she do? Stabs Sukuna. Stabs him in the heart. And damages his soul. Slowing RCT use. He has to use RCT to heal his soul properly. The wound is healing slower than the others. When someone who can observe the soul wields split soul katana, reverse curse technique doesn't usually heal the wound. Repairing the soul's shape requires comprehending the soul's contour. So now he has a wound on his heart. Him amounted to nothing? No, it amounted to him now having to slow down his healing because he has a permanent wound on his chest. Not permanent. a semi-permanent wound on his chest. He's still fighting the same. No, he's saying, I am not being slowed down by all. I'm not having an issue keeping up with you right now. That's what he's saying. It's not that it didn't amount to anything. It's that he's still so strong that it's not slowing him down as much as you would think. She got decimated right after the soul stuff, only gets a substantial at latter half, not there. There is nothing interesting about it, let's be honest. In the end, it's just with Asta Unga Bunga Luciferos with the sword, kind of that did happen, actually. What are you talking about? It doesn't amount to anything when she's literally slowing down his fucking ability to heal. And she's literally tossing him through buildings and shit, man. She's the only one here keeping up with him, and she says, she reads my techniques better than others, much like when I battled Mahoraga. And they're saying he's using curse tech energy to simultaneously heal and keep his heart beating. So again, they're wasting the limited resource that he has that under most circumstances, he would never even have to think about. It's frustrating because you have no points. It's frustrating because everything point that you bring up amounts to nothing at the end of the day because they are getting leeway. There is leeway happening here. This is a raid boss battle. They are coming in here with a strategy. They are trying to literally take down a guy who is considered the strongest sorcerer in history. It's not just going to be some one-shot moment like dog shit Ichigo where he shows up with some random power-up after, 6 months of training in an hour and then just says, no, I'm just gonna one-shot you, bro. Oh no, those mountains were me, bro. Oh no, that's not interesting. That's just the shit we've been seeing since fucking Dragon Ball. Let's keep going. No, let's keep going. Sends her through a building, kicks her through, is starting to really ramp up because now he's actually getting serious with Maki. Oh, a guy one of them is ready inside the building already to try to blitz him. No, Sukuna, takes him out. Doesn't even get an attack out. Every single one of their attacks is consistently being dealt with. Higuruma right here tries to attack Sukuna. Nope, amounts to nothing. They didn't do anything. They keep jumping in. Maki's running in again to fight Sukuna. And what does he do? He blitzes her. You're saying, can you remind me what Miguel or Kusakabe did? They tried to hold him off. What Kusakabe did, hold him off. Are you telling? So am I going to right here? If we had no chance of, let me slow down. Huh? No way. Am I the last one? He's the last guy there. What do you mean? What did Kusakabe do? He held off Sukuna. I just woke up and got a notification and I got a gifted membership. Thank you. Hey, no worries. Happy you got the gifted membership. What do you mean what did Kusakabe did? He held off Sukuna. If Sukuna just gets enough time to heal up or build up more cursed energy, what the fuck do you think we're gonna do? Hey, what's good, Mr. Dens? Am I gonna have to fight Sukuna? Kusakabe isn't one of their heavy hitters. He isn't someone who's here to try and defeat Sukuna on his own. That's not his role. His role is I have to be able to fucking hold this dude off right now because nobody else is around. If Ino went down, if Yuji's still healing, there's nobody else to fight this guy. I have to go in here, man. I have to fight. And what does he do? He shows off Ultra fucking Instinct. Incorporated an original program, automatically intercepting anything that goes inside the domain. What are you telling me? He didn't do anything. And Sukuna here's like, all right, fuck it. I'm entertained. Bring it on. Take anything from Sukuna. He doesn't have to take anything from Sukuna besides the fact that he's forcing Sukuna to have to use RCT. Kusakabe forces Sukuna. Kusakabe holds off Sukuna and makes him use some RCT. There you go. That's what he did. Makes him use some RCT because now he has to heal all of the wounds that he's taking damage from. He's knocking him around. He's keeping him in check while somebody else has enough time to pull up. Sure, he got taken down, but guess what? That's the kind of shit I would expect from somebody who is essentially doesn't have many options to take down the big dude. I'm not saying that Kusakabe has to defeat them. Do you think this kid has to defeat them? No, that's not their role in the fucking... That's not his role in the fucking battle. Kusakabe's not the guy to defeat Sukuna, and I think you're being a bit disingenuous by saying, oh, but Kusakabe didn't defeat Sukuna, so I guess what he did didn't mean anything. No, he held him off. He held him off when nobody else was around. He got saved by LaRue, the kid, and what's-his-face, Miguel. Let's talk about Miguel. The guy that said, I'm not doing this, bruh. There's no way I'm going to fight someone who could beat Satoru Gojo. And then he says, Okotsuyuga taking care of them in the back. Shinjuku, I don't want to go into a group fight. He doesn't have his domain. Gojo left us a nice souvenir. He has a parting gift. All right, it's our turn. Because they don't have enough people They do not have enough people to consistently take on Sukuna. They have like what, 15 people to jump Sukuna, and already multiple of them are out. How can you be upset by this? How can you say, oh, well, this is bullshit? Why is Kusakabe even getting a chance to shine? I'm happy he's getting a time to shine, because you know what? Magna got a time to shine. I didn't get to see that with fucking Rock Lee. I never got to see that with fucking Renji. I never got to see that with fucking Ikaku Madarame. But I'm getting to see it with someone like Kusakabe. I get to see this stuff on the side, dude. That's why this shit is impressive. That's why this shit is actually doing something. They're knocking him around. They're trying to do their best. Miguel out here is literally trying to just evade Sukuna to try and get some kind of leeway in there so that they can at least, again, lower out his cursed energy reserves. Whether it's lowering cursed energy reserves, whether it's evading his attacks, whether it's holding him off. Miguel and LaRue? Miguel/LaRue? Because they are a pair. Keep Sukuna busy until the cavalry arrive. They keep Sukuna busy until everybody else can come back, and they still landing punches on Sukuna. He's still hurting Sukuna. He's still doing shit. Now what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that no one did not do anything, but it's not as big as Yuji just one-shotting him. But Yuji didn't one-shot him! How can you be so... No, you're disingenuous. You're disingenuous. You see Yuji punching Sukuna one last time, and you think, oh man, dude, oh, shit, man. Shit, dude. I guess Sukuna lost to one hit. You're disingenuous, dude. You're disingenuous. Your problems are that you just didn't like the way the battle was portrayed, and I'm sitting, or whatever reason, and I'm telling you right here, with Sukuna, the hand on the writer is too visible. Like, with the lightning tool being removed, being important, but why did it have to exist in the first place? Its short intro and exit make it too obvious. Because they're trying to show that even when Sukuna has all of these fucking conditions, all of these extra shits, he still has something in the back pocket left. It's not about showing, it's about showing that, hey, listen, this is what this guy has. This is an entire kit. We are slowly whittling at it away, little by little. And you're sitting here and being so disingenuous by saying, oh, but Sukuna beat him in one-shotting him at the end. Do you not understand what a one-shot is? A one-shot is defeating a character in a single fucking move. Last time I checked, Sukuna's got, let's see, fought Gojo, lost a domain expansion, 10 shadows, weakened RCT, about half of his domain expansion, lost about half of his cursed energy, and more importantly, I forgot to mention this, received brain damage. Something else. We're not even talking about a guy. We're not even just talking about some random guy that is supposed to be the strongest in the verse or whatever. That's just taking on all these guys and one-shotting them one back to back to back to back to back. They are literally using strategy and tactics to simultaneously attack them. And you're getting frustrated. You know why? Because you have no counter arguments. You are frustrated because you just don't like it, and it's okay. That's the problem. You just don't like the fight, and that is basically fine. But your claims are all disingenuous. They are, objectively speaking, disingenuous. You have not brought up to me a good point at all throughout any of the things that you've said, and I countered every single point that you brought up, my guy. They're literally saying, we have to still stop him from using the world-cutting slash. We know what the conditions are. Maki shows up, takes another one of his fucking hands. Oh, look at that. Maki. What else did Maki do? Took one of his hands. Took another one of his hands. What did she do? She took another one of his hands. And what does Sukuna do? Ramps the fuck up. He says, okay. And what happens after all of this shit occurs? What happens after he gets jumped by so many fucking characters, where his curse technique still isn't functioning? He can't complete the palm signs from the top to bottom or right hands. What's the next option that Sukuna has? Let me see. Lands a black flash. Just ramps himself up. Satoru Gojo regained reverse curse technique after 2 black flashes. It's like getting to phase 2. You know what happened? It got to phase 2. Useless filling for action? Okay, what is the useless filling for action that amounts to nothing? What is the useless filling? Again, you're making points, but you're not actually providing evidence. You are making a claim. Just because you didn't personally like the fight doesn't make it bad, and applies to both JJK. Yeah, I agree with that. Sukuna, for all his power, is bound by the rules of the verse and its power system alongside with physical limitations. He's crazy powerful, but he has boundaries that the others exploit, and that's what makes it interesting. I don't want to see villains that are so overpowered, nobody can do anything because there's just no option. The character's too tough, too tough, too fast, too strong, blah, 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 blah. Those characters adding mosquito bites to Sukuna, what's happening here? Mosquito bites? What mosquito bites are we talking here? What mosquito bites are we talking here? What mosquito bites? What mosquito bites? The whole point, they're slowly whittling him down. They're not mosquito bites. It's a fucking raid boss. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. And what is Sukuna do? He ramps the fuck up. And now they don't know what the fuck they have to deal with Sukuna right now. So what do? They just keep pressing. Say, fuck it. Listen, he landed a Black Flash. Keep up the pressure. We can keep attacking. And you know what Sukuna does? Besides the fact that he can just kick off the air, using the air as footing itself, he lands a second Black Flash. Oh, no wait, that's the third time. His output of his slashes are also increasing. Supernova doesn't mean anything. Blitzes his own slashes and pulls up from behind, throws him back into a wall, and lands a fourth fucking Black Flash, dude. Things are slowly becoming a problem for them because Sukuna is finally ramping up every single time he lands one of these Black Flashes, and they're just not getting anywhere at this point. Look at them. They're bleeding out. They have not many options left. LaRue's almost out. Is almost fucking out of the fight. He can barely fucking walk. He's being carried off by Miguel. Yuji's doing his best, and even while trying to hit him with convergence or doing any of the sort, Yuji's trying to land an attack. And what'd you say? These little mosquito bites? What does Miguel and LaRue do? They help Yuji awaken. Look at that. They help Yuji awaken. If LaRue was not in this fight, if Miguel and LaRue, maybe not Miguel, but at least LaRue shows this is the point where they aren't doing anything to him. Yes, they are. 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 Why are they doing it? Why? Because Sukuna ramped up, my guy. That's what you're not understanding. Your frustration is that Sukuna can still Your frustration is that Sukuna can still show that even after all of this, he's still getting stronger. He can still amp himself up. And they're starting to slow down. That doesn't negate everything that they did before. That doesn't negate any of this, my guy. Your argument is still not relevant because they still put him to this extent. And what do? They took his eyes off the caster. He's not able to know where the fuck Yuji is because he can't move his eyes from LaRue. And what does Yuji do? Lands a Black fucking Flash. 1 of 9 Black Flashes. Lands 9 Black Flashes, each lowering his output and his control over the body. They're not mosquito bites. Again, it's a fucking raid boss fight, dude. Black Flash, Black Flash, Black Flash. They're now trying to now that Yuji has finally fully awakened, now he's someone that can at least try to do something to Sukuna. Sure, the Ryu thing didn't matter. Sure, this guy might not be the strongest, but he's at least knocking Sukuna away so that Yuji can get a better chance to land a what? Look at this! Black Flash! What did Ino do? Set up Yuji for a Black Flash. Ino sets up Yuji for a Black Flash. You know what that's called? Teamwork. No, they're 9 Black Flashes. It's not 8, it's 9 Black Flashes. I know this because I've read this fucking fight so many fucking times. I've actually stayed up at night, couldn't sleep, and I said, fuck it, I'm reading Shinjuku Showdown. I know how many Black Flashes he lands, and it was nice. Set us up Yuji's Black Flash. Sets up Yuji's Black Flash. He keeps striking me with Black Flashes. Does he think he can equal me? He says, I ran out of Kirin too. Sorry, Nanami. I totally failed. And what does Sukuna do? Keeps continuing to fight Yuji, and even combines the blunt force of slashes that didn't phase him. Yuji lands another Black Flash. Rips out part of Yuji's face. Lands another Black Flash. Damn you, boy. Oh, look at that. Lands another Black Flash. Sets up 2 for 2 Black Flashes. Because let's be real here, this Black Flash doesn't happen if he doesn't throw Nanami's weapon. This is Nanami's weapon. This is the weapon that Ino had. This is the weapon that he inherited from Nanami. He threw it, and then he says, maybe I didn't do so bad after all. Kick his ass. I am not saying that these characters have all have all given the same amount of effort, we can talk about all of the different things and who did more and who did less. I don't care about who did more and who did. This is unbearable. It's unbearable because you have no argument here, my guy. It's unbearable because you have no argument here. Your frustrations are that you're calling things out that have, objectively speaking, no weight because the story already takes care of it. You're just choosing to ignore them. That's your problem, and that's where the frustration's coming from. You're choosing to ignore the shit. And what happens with Sukuna? Unlocks domain expansion. Lands this shit, kills all of the birds, and everyone here is thinking, what the fuck happens if we use domain expansion? And what did Yuji do? New Shadow style simple domain. Why? Because he spent a month with Kusakabe switch training twice in order to learn simple domain. And the only thing he can do is withstand the domain. It's attacking every single person, and even fucking useless Miwa shows up just to use a new Shadow Style Simple Domain, and even Ino's using a new Shadow Style Simple Domain, and even Chozo, just so they can try and survive this for a second. What is an ass pull? Why is it an ass pull? Again, ass pull? Where is the ass pull coming from? If you've got nothing objective to say, just stop. Nothing wrong with just stopping. The issue here is that I can keep going, my guy. We can keep going. I can do the whole fucking fight. This is my favorite fight of all time. I have no issue with talking about this fight until the very end of the fucking series. We can keep doing this, but you have no objective point here. You have nothing here that actually adds to anything you said. It's an ass pull? Why is it an ass pull? They very much, objectively speaking, literally have given you the flashbacks that state how they even got to this point. They trained, they did all of it, and Sukuna pulls out Fuga. He shoots out a giant domain. They all got blasted by it. Oh wait, no, they're all gonna die. Wait, Chozo tries to save Yuji. Fantastic. What did Chozo do? Saves the guy that fucking clutched it. Chozo saved Yuji, the guy who clutched the last guy standing, who clutched the fucking fight. What did Chozo do? Chozo didn't have to hurt Sukuna. I'll give you that. Chozo didn't hurt Sukuna. Nothing that he did even remotely amounted to any kind of damage. Nothing he even remotely did. Yuji never did simple domain till this point, dude. Do I have to go back? Do I have to go back and show you where Yuji does switch training with the guy that literally says master simple domain? Here's the issue. You're misinformed. You actually haven't read these chapters. You don't know what you are talking about. And it's not out of nowhere because Yuji Itadori learned simple domain let's go into it. I can bring it up. Sure, that's fine. New Shadow Style Simple Domain. An anti-domain technique Yuji learned by switching souls with Kusakabe. It is able to dismantle... Okay, we already got that. There you go. Chapter 258, page 9. There you go. It's not an ass pull. You're not talking to a tree. I'm trying to show you how contrived it is that Yuji even do this. It's not contrived. Why is it contrived? Why is it contrived? Just a bait, but let's say Sukuna eats beans as fraud. Cool. Goodbye. No, you're not trying to show me anything. You're trying to simply tell me that the show is bad because it didn't do these things, and yet it did do these things. I could go to chapter 258 right now. As a matter of fact, let's just go back to chapter 258. Let's just go back to chapter 258. I can switch boxes without opening them. Unless you open them, no one knows they changed. Itadori, you're developing rapidly as a sorcerer. Do you know why that is? Because I've got talent? It's because of Sukuna. When people engage in sports, they repeat the same motions until their body remembers. Sukuna possessed your body and used jujutsu. Your body remembers super special grade curse techniques. So you pick them up and develop them incredibly fast. We're going to do the same thing through replacement training. First with me, I'm going to teach you the basics of my curse technique, energy manipulation, and barrier techniques, my simple domain. You know what it is? What is contrived to me is how Naruto and Sasuke get their 6 paths amps. True, but you know what the issue is? You know what the issue is, Suguna? You know what the issue is? Ironically speaking, for a guy that has the same name as the guy that I'm trying to talk about in this series, your problem is that you just didn't read the story. The disconnect here is that you actually haven't read the story. You are frustrated because I can counter every single point you make because I know the fight. I know the points. I know every little aspect of this fight. I know who dealt damage, who did what when. I know all of it because, again, I have read the chapters. I have read the text. I didn't just look at picture and thought, wait, why, how the fuck, what? Excuse me? Excuse me? He's just no simple domain out of nowhere? That's impossible. What do you mean? What do you mean, Yuji just learned domain expansion? I did, my guy. It's baffling if we're reading the same story. It's not baffling. It's right there. It's explained. So what's the issue? What's the issue with Yuji learning simple domain? How is that bullshit? Oh, Boogie Woogie? He still feels Boogie Woogie inside. And you know why it works? Because of the thing that Sukuna has been abusing this whole time, binding vows. You know why it seems so bullshit for Sukuna to use binding vows and for nobody else to use them? Because Sukuna is the only one who abuses them. I've said this before in my previous videos about Sukuna. An ass pull from Todo I mentioned? What's the ass pull from Todo that you mentioned? Because he's using a binding vow. It's even stated. Todo replaced his left hand with a Vibro Slap and changed the condition for activating Boogie Woogie. You just don't like it, Sukuna. That's the problem. You just don't like it. You just don't like the characters coming back. You just want to make... I'm sure that your problem is that you want Sukuna to feel like this overbearing, overpowered villain that nobody could ever do anything against, and no matter what amount of prep time, and no matter what amount of prep time, strategy, planning, whatever the fuck it is, no matter how much the characters fight, no matter how much they try to will down his health, Sukuna's just supposed to stand there, take it all, and then say, oh, sorry, actually, sorry about this, but I'm so powerful, and I've got all these amazing and powerful abilities, and, my curse technique is just so crazy that you can't hurt me. That's the problem. That's the problem. You just don't like what the fuck. You just don't like that Gege Akutami brought the characters back and had them all jump Sukuna at once. I mean, he can do that if he wants to, but he's inescapable because of his Gojo fight. What do you mean he's incapable because of Gojo fight? What do you mean? He's incapable? Yeah, because the Gojo fight is what set them up to win. Because the Gojo fight is what set them up to win. Your problem... I don't know. I actually don't even understand what your problem is at this point. He's incapable of doing the thing that you just said because of the Gojo fight, right? So how is Gojo losing bullshit? It all adds up. It all adds up. I think the problem is that it all adds up. I think that's the problem. That you don't want this to add up. That you want to find something wrong with these and you came to the wrong person's channel because I know the fight in and out. I'm saying Gojo was the reason all his damage to Sukuna and Awake. No, Gojo was not the reason that Yuji awakened. Gojo was not the reason Yuji awakened. Gojo was just one domino. Gojo was just one dumb. He's not a Sukuna Glazer, quite the opposite. I don't even know what the fuck he's arguing for at this point. There is not a reason with this guy. He's literally going full circle. Yeah, no, he's going full circle. His issue is that he doesn't understand that Gojo was just the first domino in a series of dominoes that took down Sukuna. That's the problem. That's the issue, and that's what's cool about this fight. That everything was a domino effect. And sure, there were some issues to get to the end game, but they still did it. Do you think Trafalgar Law's Devil Fruit can bypass Gojo's Infinity? Yeah, it bypasses space. Well, not so much that it bypasses space, but it damages everything. Not damages. It goes through everything within the domain expel. Garbage cannon filler? What's garbage cannon filler? What are you talking about? What garbage cannon filler? Ah, there we go. So you have nothing else to say, so instead you say, well, no, the fight's just garbage then. Yeah, okay. Again, opinion. But anyway, no, I just feel like people just genuinely doesn't understand. People just genuinely see this shit and they just look at panels. They're just seeing, oh, look, ball here. Oh, guy. Oh, punch, kick. That's all they're seeing. All these words, they mean nothing, guys. These words mean nothing. Oh, they're standing there. What about here? He did this here, right here. Wait, he did that thing right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, Sukuna did a flip right here. Cool. That's what we're doing here. Yeah. Letters and words mean nothing. None of this makes sense. How did Sukuna like just dodge him in midair? That doesn't make any sense. Well, now Yuji's gonna throw this. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, no. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like people who have read this, who have quote unquote read this when the fights came out, when the chapters were still releasing, that's why I feel like they actually took this in. All of these words didn't matter. How did he dodge his attack? I don't know, but I mean, this text box right here must be completely irrelevant to what's happening there. He jumped in midair. It doesn't matter now that I know that he can do it. I just know that he can. Yeah. Bro gotta be edge baited at this point. Disney Kaizen, man. Zero consequences. Zero consequences. The only reason they're alive is because they have a doctor in the background and a kid who can teleport, essentially bringing everybody back so that they don't die. Yeah, he's bullshitting. He's bullshitting. He just doesn't like it. And you know what? It must be really frustrating to come into the live stream of the one guy on YouTube that can probably systematically break down every single one of his arguments, and the only thing he can say at that point is attack the series and say, oh, no, now there's just no consequences at all to anything in the series. Yeah, no, because Yuji's brother didn't just fucking die, right? Because Yuji's brother didn't die. They didn't literally lose one of their team members. They didn't literally just lose Gojo. Yeah, no. There's no consequences, right? People actually weren't fucking killed in this fight. People actually didn't give up their fucking lives for this shit, man. Yeah, no. Cool. Oh, and let's not talk about then. Oh, and remember what I said about they threw everything and the kitchen sink at Sukuna? Well, imagine now throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, and then the fucking indigenous burial ground underneath. They literally went back, took Gojo's body, like, this is all explained on here. No, it's not. What? You're literally acting like it's all explained on here? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What isn't explained? What isn't explained? The Yuta twist was horrible, man? You mean him... Wow, Yuta's twist isn't explained? No question. No, so I guess all of this text means nothing, guys. Guys. Yuta took over. Yuta took over Gojo's body using Kenjaku's technique, man. Oh, look at this. Oh, word and text. Why are we going back here? What is this? Why are we talking about these things? It's not like we're explaining anything. I mean, all this text has to be irrelevant, right? They must be talking about cheese and they must be talking about charcuterie boards, cheese, ham, peanuts, all that shit, man. I assume, man, Yuta must be really fucking passionate about eating Gouda cheese instead of Swiss, right? He must be really fucking upset. I don't understand why Yuta, it must not have been explained at all, man. Yuta just coming back out of nowhere and saying, hey, man, hey, Gojo sensei, how do you feel about charcuterie boards? Hey, man, listen, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I gotta fight Sukuna. Oh, well, I guess we gotta do something else, man. Let's talk about it here, guys. Come on. Yeah, none of this matters, dude. None of this is relevant. This doesn't explain at all why Yuta is all of a sudden in Sukuna's body. Like, man, wow. Unlike Yuya, I'm not a glazer who eats anything on a plate. I'm not eating anything on a plate. I'm literally telling you what's happening with the story. No. I want to do this. I want to upset this person at this point. At this point, we're just having a back and forth, and they're the only ones here being actively upset by this. I can continue to talk about this and not accept everything that's on a plate. Listen, I'm not a Pokemon fan. I'm not a Nintendo fan. I don't accept crap that's fed to me and then just say, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. Does JJK have it? Sure. But every single issue that you so far have called out is actually a non-issue. It's actually nothing. It's actually a non-issue at all. You have not called out any actual issue. I have not seen an actual complaint here that is even remotely justified or that isn't actually explained within the context of the story. All I've heard from you so far is, but nobody did anything. Objectively speaking, incorrect. Objectively speaking, incorrect. You would be objectively incorrect under every facet of logic and truth within the JJK story. No, you are incorrect. Yuta didn't do anything? Oh, Yuta, it's bullshit. Yuta came out of nowhere with Gojo's body? Oh no, objectively incorrect. I guess all of this dialogue and text that happened here at this previous point in the story, all of these chapter pages, they just didn't amount to anything. Yeah, no, I'm the one coping. I'm the one coping, right? Of course, has to be the case, man. No, it can't be you, right? You, the guy that has read all of this shit, and then for whatever reason, it just still doesn't make any sense to you, man. What else did you expect to see? Yuta literally was introduced with the copy ability. It was illogical that he would try to use Kenjaku's to use Gojo's. Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess we're just coping here. I guess I'm the one coping because every single problem that you seem to have with all the characters not doing anything, well, I mean, it's not true. I mean, objectively speaking, it's not true. They all did something. They all provided some kind of help, whether it was her healing people, putting Yuta's brain inside Gojo's body, whether it was holding off Sukuna long enough for the people that need to actually fight him to, gain their shit back. Yeah, sure. Bro, your reading speaks so fast, it's actually impressive. Yeah, no. Probably, right? Yeah. No consequences at all, right? Yeah. Oh, Inumaki. Oh, look at that. Inumaki. Oh, we can talk about that. Let's talk about Yuta again. Literally fucking took Gojo's body. Literally used Gojo's body. Todo. Let's talk about Todo. Yeah, I'm just gonna fill this out real quick for myself. Todo. I don't know. Besto Friendo allowed Yuji to land Black Flash and multiple Sukuna weakening punches. Oh, let's talk about oh, Yuta. What else does he do? What else does Yuta do? Wastes Sukuna's explode DE. What about Inumaki? What did Inumaki do? Inumaki helps Yuta land a hollow purple. Man, I could just keep going. Yuta getting Kenjaku's technique was one of the worst things in the series next to Maki Tsudan. Why is it one of the worst things in the series? You keep making claims, but you're not providing evidence. What is the evidence? Why is it one of the worst things? Explain yourself. Is there page by page? I've given you literally everything that you need. I've given you literally everything. What other problem do you have? Oh, why does Yuta have Kenjaku's domain expand technique? I mean, because he had Rika eat his head. You know, that thing that was explained when Yuta fought the other two cursed energy users when he used domain expansion. He ripped out one of her arms. You know, the reason why Yuta can use what is it called? Thin icebreaker. Oh yeah, that reason. Yeah. That thing that allows him to use that. Yeah. It makes no sense. It's one of the worst things that happened to the series. It still doesn't make sense. No, it does make sense. You don't want it to make sense. That's your problem. You do not want it to make sense. You do not like it, therefore you want to do everything you can for it to not make sense. You know who else does this? Pokemon fans. When they hear someone say the game isn't good, oh no, that I don't understand why people say it's bad. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe all the reasons that are provided is the reason why it's bad. Maybe all the reasons I provided are the reasons why it makes sense. You just don't want it to make sense. And that's your problem. Oh, look at that. One of Yuji's domain expansions landed, and oh look, Sukuna's now spitting his fingers. All of that whittling away, now it's happening. Look at that. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Absolutely amazing that all of the hits that they've had to land up until now are finally having it. Crying Ocean Sokopa panels are right in front of you. Yeah, you're crying. Yeah, I know you're crying. I know, Sukuna, I know you're crying. Why are you crying? Why are you coping? The information's just right in front of you. I don't understand what's your issue. It doesn't make sense. My father would never lose. Ah, there it is. It doesn't make sense because Sukuna No. I think all of this is actually a pretty justifiable and objective reason as to why Sukuna lost. If you're telling me that I had to be hit by, let's count. What was the number that I did that I said in the video? Oh yeah, it was 36. Imagine having to take 36 punches, 9 of which are limiting your 36 punches, 9 of which are black flashes, all of which are limiting your ability to send out cursed energy techniques and output. Imagine them also separating your body, getting hit with multiple attacks that each lower and damage your cursed energy, that are damaging the cursed tools that the cursed object that your body is comprised out of. You know, the thing that is the reason why you are alive. Getting your arms ripped off, your arms being cut off multiple times, your hands being cut off, your tongue being ripped out, your second mouth's tongue being ripped out in that case, having to use multiple domain expansions. Oh yeah, no. All of that doesn't make any sense as to how he lost, right? Even though it's all being worded right in front of you. Died to a one-tap. No, he did not die to a one-tap, and you are disingenuous. You are being disingenuous. You are objectively speaking being disingenuous. He died to one hit. I guess, guys, everybody, I guess all of this meant nothing. I guess all of this was just Sukuna fucking around, not really trying, and then Yuji landed a single hit. I guess that's all it took, man. I don't know why I didn't just throw Yuji in the front of the fight. If Gojo was there, I don't know why I didn't just bring in Gojo. Took out a whole chest. Took a hole to the chest by a transdimensional being. But okay, I don't give a shit about Aizen. Aizen's a dog shit character. Cool. Oh great. Now let me guess. This is where we're going now, to the point where now you have to talk about Aizen and how he took damage from some other dude. By the way, even though he's immortal, so it amounts again to nothing, because Aizen, unlike Sukuna, is immortal. You know? Yeah, Aizen, the guy who is immortal, who can't be killed, therefore he has to be sealed away. Yeah, he took a hole to the chest. Yeah, that has consequences, right? None of this though, right? None of this has consequences, but yeah, Aizen, who is immortal, taking a hold to the chest. Here's the issue, and I'm going to be honest with you. Why are we coping here? You are coping. You are coping. Yes, you are coping. You are now going out of your way to bring up a character that I don't give a shit about, that I'm not talking about, and that has nothing to do with the context of the series in order to try to even make a point. But guess what? It doesn't add anything, my guy. You're just at a pregnant woman and the baby would come out stronger. That's what I'm saying, man. You're right, Gigas. Yeah. Man, I guess none of this mattered at all. Yeah, I guess none of this had any consequences. Sure. Oh, look at that. The thing that I mentioned before that they explain as to why she could potentially come back, even though they don't bring her back yet. Cool. Resonance. The one thing that Sukuna could at no fucking point. This is that girl. Damn it. Let's read this again. Let me close this in. This is that girl. Damn it. I can't open my domain expansion. My curse technique is I can't open my domain expansion. That means the boys can't miss technique. Oh, look at that. She fucking clutched it out for Yuji in the end. Oh, Megumi finally got awakened and Yuji find out. And Yuji, narratively speaking, the guy who thought that he was fighting alone, who at this point now is only fighting alone, realized that his two teammates, the two people that he started the series with, are still there and kicking and they're still fighting. Look at the smile on this man's face as he realizes, holy shit, I am genuinely not alone. I can actually doing. Yeah. No, you're coping. Oh, look at, but guys, everyone. I guess all of this didn't matter. I guess Sukuna got one shot. I guess Gojo, the domain expansion, the 10 shadows, the CE, getting stabbed in the chest and having to, fix his soul with RCT as well. You know, taking damage to the soul. I guess landing multiple black flashes. I guess none of that mattered, guys. None of that mattered at all because Yuji landed one black flash. I didn't, though. I'll say it right here and right now. In Shinjuku Showdown, expect Yuji killing Sukuna and Gojo vs. Sukuna was filler for Gege's lazy. This is how I... You're disingenuous. You're disingenuous because, and I will quote your very own... I will quote you. I will quote your own fucking statement. I will quote your own fucking statement. Where did you say it? Where was it that you said, man? The only reason they even got to this point was because of Gojo. So I guess Gojo's fight isn't filler, right? I'm saying Gojo was the reason all his damage to Sukuna and awakened Yuji. Wow, fantastic. Wow. Here's the thing. Even if he's rage baiting, no. He's clearly rage baiting at this point, but I don't care. Because at this point, the only thing that's happening here is that he is showing himself to be someone who is being disingenuous and who, honestly speaking, is just, I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. You just don't have any points to bring up. You might be rage baiting. I don't know, but hey, man. The only person that you're making look bad here is you. The only person you're making... I don't even get the point of rage baiting. I don't even get the point of like trying to... Even if you are rage baiting, I don't get the point. It wasn't filler. He contributed the most, though. Okay? I don't know. At this point, I don't know, though. Because Yuji kind of won. Because Yuji kind of won this shit. Yeah, Gojo contributed a lot. They all did. Yeah, they all did. So why do we keep backtracking? Oh, so Gojo versus Sukuna was filler though? Oh, but Gojo contributed the most. So again, which one is it? Guys, listen, I don't give a fuck if he's rage baiting. He's just making himself look bad. That's the problem. He's just making himself look bad. And I am glad to make you look, I'm glad to help you make you look bad. I'm sorry. I'm glad to do it because if you're going to go out of your way to use ad hominem for the series, to target the series just because, hey, you don't like the way it went down. Hey, I mean, listen, I countered every single one of your points. What's next? Yeah, chat, don't you love moving goalposts? I love moving goalposts. First, Gojo's fight was filler. Then, Gojo was the reason they're able to do this. Then, Gojo's fight was filler. Then, Gojo's the only reason why they're able to do this. I don't know, man. Really forgetting how I was easily dragging you down the mud all this time? What do you mean dragging me down the mud? I've countered every single point. You're just rage baiting again, but you're only proving yourself, at least within this, this profile or whatever. You're only proving yourself to a bunch of people that, hey man, I can't debate. I don't know what to say. I'm only here to make myself sound like I don't know what it is that I'm talking about. Could you explain what you know about Sukuna's black box technique? Is it like storage for other techniques he absorbed over his time in the Heian era? Is it just Fuga? It's just Fuga. His curse technique is Shrine. Shrine is a cooking-based technique. Sukuna sends out flying slashes that are invisible, and when he prepares, yeah, he's not giving us any reason to ban him, and I'm not going to ban him just because he has bad takes, by the way. We're not going to do that. He can keep having all of his he can keep having all of his terrible takes, all of his unsubstantiated opinions. He's allowed to have them. Here's the thing: you are allowed to think. No, you're not gonna be generous. You have every single right to think whatever you want to think. But if you're gonna come into this channel, especially for a guy that knows this fight as well as I do, and you're gonna bring in a bunch of fallacious points, a bunch of disingenuous claims, and a bunch of backpedaling and back and forth, I'm sorry. I will allow you to do it. I will allow you to make a fool of yourself. You're not making any point. I was original with the hate on Bleach, but Sukuna is just really bringing down the bar for all haters. No, there's just a really low bar. At the end of the day, I don't need to ban you or anything. I'm just gonna make it clear that if you want to cope, there's no reason for me to ban someone that copes, or else I would have banned everyone who is trying to force the Admiral agenda on me, man. I would have banned every single one of them. Ain't you the same person that Sukuna beats Madara? Yes, he beats Madara. Beats the fuck out of EMS Madara. Cuts his head off every single time. Doesn't even bother. Yeah. Even when things get like this, I'm not gonna ban it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to insult you. I'm just gonna say, hey man, you're coping. I don't know what to tell you. Disingenuous claims, cope-filled claims, sure, but none of them are actually substantiated by anything in the series. Everything was explained. People didn't like it. Oh look, feet. People didn't like it. That's fine. There's no issue there. JJK glazed, so it's glazed because you disagree with it. It's glazed because you disagree with it. That's the issue, right? It's only glazed. It's everyone else glazes when they disagree with me. But me personally, I've said nothing wrong. My points are still stand. I don't care if the story in and of itself proves that I am objectively speaking incorrect. I don't care if the story explains every one of my issues. I still don't like it. Therefore, you're glazing and you're the problem. Bleach was city level, yeah. What about Bleach being city level? What about Bleach being city level, man? That has nothing to do with this conversation. Still my favorite take. The Salt and Naruto fan base was hilarious. What glaze? Yeah, what was the glaze? I simply stated facts. Everything I stated was a fact. Everything I stated was a fair interpretation for the things that Sukuna has done. I don't think I've oversold anything that Sukuna has done. I don't think I've stated Sukuna as anything crazy. I'm just saying. Let's get back to Bleach. Oh no, the Bleach Getsuga Tenshou is not using Genjutsu. He doesn't have cursed energy. I mean, he doesn't have Madara. He doesn't have a chakra network or chakra. I don't know. You've come to the wrong channel if you think that I'm going to allow for if I ever talk about verse equalization. What you're thinking of is verse equalization, and I'm sorry, buddy. If you don't like the fact that I don't verse equalize, and therefore Genjutsu does not work on anybody outside the Naruto verse, which I've explained many times before, I'm not going to go into. You have every right to just not be a part of this channel. I can guide you to a bunch of other channels that would say Madara can put him under Genjutsu, but I disagree with that, and I have no reason to believe it. That's the fact. If you have an issue with that, that's your problem. If that's your problem, I mean, hey, if Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War didn't exist, where would the verse rank in terms of power? I don't know, man. Somewhere around like country level. If I just want to go with what everybody else says, somewhere around country level. So you rather go by Ketken than saying Madara wouldn't see the world cutting slash? Why would he see the world cutting slash? Is the issue? What about what I'm saying is headcanon? Why would he be able to see? Why would he be able to see the world cutting slash? Explain. Because the last time I checked, the world cutting slash, along with all of Sukuna's other slashes, are invisible. They are invisible slashes. That's why they make a big deal. Maki saw it? No, Maki did not see it. She senses the changes in air pressure. She did not physically see the slash. And even then, Maki has the ability. I can show you. Let's look up Maki. Maki. Let's look up Maki Zenin. I can do that for you. I can do that. I'm here. Listen, I am a power scaling YouTuber. I'm here to teach people things that they may not already know. Minor amounts of cursed energy possessed hold back the heavenly restriction in exchange, blah, 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 blah. But Maki can see inorganic matter and grab a hold of normally imperceivable changes in air density and temperature. There you go. There's no proof he could see the world cutting slash. Sharingan only lets you see chakra. Yeah. Yeah, she perceived it. Keep crying. What am I crying about? What am I crying about? You keep bringing up bad points. You keep bringing that back, objectively speaking, bad points. So what am I crying about? How do we get to the Getsuga? Oh, the Getsuga Tenshou shit's already done. I already looked at all of it. The Getsuga Tenshou hasn't done shit. I think it's beaten 2 people total. From my count, Getsuga Tenshou has beaten exactly 2 people, guys. 2 people of which have nothing important in the series. Maki dodged the world cutting, so why wouldn't Madara? Because he can't see it coming. That's why. Because he can't see it coming. That's why. Do you need anything else? Why can't he see it coming? Because he can't see changes in air pressure. Why can't he see changes in air pressure? Because it's never implied within the context of the story. There. I've just countered your next 3 comments. There we go. Yeah. In 709 chapters, he has defeated 2 people with Getsuga Tenshou. Madara dodged an FTL Naruto. No, he never dodged. Madara has never dodged him. Give me a chapter right now. Give me a chapter right now. When did Madara dodge Naruto? I know Naruto front and back at this point. He never dodges him. Can see environments getting sliced and dodged? No, he doesn't. Give me one example where Madara did that. Give me one example where Madara did that. I want to see it. I want to see one example where a Sharingan user sees changes in air pressure, invisible changes in air pressure, because the slashes are invincible. Give me one chapter. I want it. Give me one chapter to do it. Who did Getsuga Tenshou beat? I'm going to go back into it. It wasn't Renji. It wasn't Renji. When Naruto was falling really fast and Madara dodged it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Madara blocked it. Madara blocked it. He didn't do anything. He didn't even move his body. All he did was put up a fan. He literally just put up a fan. That's not dodging. That's blocking. He cannot physically move his body out of the way. Naruto was not, falling really fast. You can't tell me. You cannot prove to me. Objectively speaking, Naruto can fall down at the speed of light. You can't prove it. Show me one instance where it's stated or implied Naruto can fall down using gravity at the speed of light. Prove it. I'm waiting. I'll wait for the chapter. Yeah, he was falling at the speed of light. Yeah, Naruto was falling at the speed of light. Wow. Naruto is falling at the speed of light at Madara, and he dodges by blocking the move instead of actually moving his body. You don't know about physics? Yeah, I know that in physics, if you go up into the air, you have to slow down because you have to calm back down. So explain to me how Naruto is falling down. And either way, it's fiction. I don't go by real physics or logic. I don't go by that. It's fiction. In fiction, you can't create spaces in the air that allow you to have surefire hit effects. Explain how physics works there. Explain it. This is just back and forth right now. Listen, I have my legs folded. I have my legs crossed right now. I have one hand on my chin. I'm fully relaxed right now, dude. Keep coping. Keep asking me questions that I'm going to keep giving you the answer to. You have to prove it. You have to prove Madara can see the slashes. You have to prove that Madara can see invisible changes in air pressure. You have to prove that Madara would somehow know or be able to do it. I don't know, man. Anyway, guys, it is 8:12 at night where I'm at. I am tired. I am exhausted, actually. I got all of the chapters I needed. You guys can, in the foreseeable future, watch a video. Dodging wind style involves seeing it affect the environment. We see Sukuna's affects the walls. Yeah, the walls. You never see it affect the air itself. When does Sukuna's slashes actually, when are they actually visibly shown? How about that? Don't forget hungry. Yeah, I'm starving, dude. I have to actually cook now. I have to cook. All they can do is make a crazy claim and then push the burden of proof onto me, even though I don't have to prove anything. I just have to tell you, within the 700 chapters, there is never when Mahoraga saw it. Yes. And do you know why Mahoraga can see it? Because he adapted. You know, Mahoraga, the thing that has the ability to adapt to things by taking damage from said things. And eventually, after a while, after taking a bunch of slashes from Sukuna, he says, you can see it, can't you? You can see my curse technique. Why would Sukuna make it a big deal if no one has seen his slashes up until this point? Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm going to be bluntly honest. I'm going to give it some positives here and there, but I'm going to be bluntly honest with it. Guys, please have a wonderful rest of your night. Please drink some water. Please, if you're going to go out of your way to debate with someone who knows any of these series pretty well, please go out of your way to actually know what it is that you're talking about. Please have the proof ready, the chapters ready, or whatever it is that you're doing. And please, guys, don't make disingenuous claims, because especially when we're talking around other power scalers, you just kind of make yourself look bad. Anyway, legit planetary, but no, it's not. I don't know what makes Madara planetary, but anyway. No, you didn't make me mad because of an Aizen take. You didn't make me mad because of an Aizen take. You haven't even upset me at all. You have just made disingenuous takes back to back. But anyway, guys, please have a wonderful rest of your night. Every single person in this chat, have a wonderful rest of your night. I hope you all get some water. I hope you all get some food. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. But anyway, yelling? Yeah, because I'm a loud motherfucker, because I have a lot of energy, and because recently, yes, I was yelling, because recently I have been in a state of mind where I am just sick and tired of hearing people cope about bullshit. Pokemon-wise, Nintendo-wise, and power scaling-wise. It is very exhausting to see people cope about shit and just never have good arguments for anything, whether it's Pokemon, Nintendo, real life, or something as stupid as power scaling and anime. It's just hard to see people cope, man. I'm not even saying I'm right in almost every single instance. I don't think I'm a person who's all 100% right. I just think if you're going to make a claim, at least be able to back it up. Keep crying, Sega Glazer. And that's where I put you on a 24-hour timeout, because now you're using ad hominems. Yeah, now we're using ad hominems. Crazy. Sure. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a good night. I haven't read One Punch Man, guys. I haven't.